Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made-up word.
There it is. Who? Nerk. There it is. What?
Sprinkles.
What?
Have you not seen that? Have you not seen the new commercial for the Geico?
No, I haven't.
Oh
No.
Dude, that would be so much funner if you had seen that.
That's,
I feel like
that's for tag team.
Yeah.
For whooping it.
I feel like I've wasted my joke.
That's right, because he did that.
Yes.
No, it didn't. Now I remember. Yeah, because they have that. They're doing the ice cream. To tag team. Yes.
Well, welcome to the episode, guys, where Chris doesn't get the joke until 30 seconds later.
Well, we'll call this episode welcome to the Nerkie of Chris is an Idiot.
No.
Subtitled Not the First Time.
I said we've done this. This is a reboot.
No, now I get it. Damn it.
I've seen this episode before.
I've seen this. Hey, Daddy. So, welcome to Nerkie Vision Part 2. I guess this really wouldn't be Nerkie Vision. This would be Nerkie and the Winter Nerkie, or Nerkie and the Winter Soldier.
Nerkon and the Nerker. Nerkie?
Nerkie and the Nerker Soldier.
No, not that one.
It's a Nerkie.
Yeah.
No. It's a Nerkie. Welcome to our second series Nerkie for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had so much fun doing WandaVision that we're just going to continue this.
It is fun. You guys, if this is your first round, if you're just diving in and listening with us for the first time, these started off as they were going to be short nerd quickies. They were going to be a nerd quickie, hence the Nerkie.
And
it was because of the mashup of the words, because that's the clever thing to do. But they went a little long, or a lot long. So now these are just special little bonus episodes. 3 hours. Some of these are long. Go back. Go back and listen or watch if you want to. But just look at the timestamps for the WandaVision stuff, and we kind of go a little bit long. But it's good stuff. This is fun. We dive into things. So
it is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice, normally we have Mr. Justin with us for the Nerkies.
Yep.
It's a big time commitment for our guests, so we're trying to be respectful for some of them. For Justin, we don't care.
Yeah.
But we just want to get this going. We're planning on having guests on for the Nerkie again. If you guys want to be part of any of this stuff, let us know.
Mm-hmm. We'll have keep the links down in the Discord in the bio for the videos. That link's always active. Just join. Accept the rules, please. It's easy to miss, but just react to accept the rules so that way we know that you read them, because it's kind of a community type server. But we would love to have you guys in there to talk BS with us about whatever wide range of topics to talk about. A lot of like-minded people and a lot of new and interesting hobbies and activities and things that that are open for discussion. So
all sorts of fun here. I'm gonna adjust my camera.
Oh, and we didn't introduce ourselves if anybody happens to be new. So
no, we didn't.
No.
So we should probably do that too. So welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerdom, where we are two 30 to 40 something year olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. And again, this is a Nerkie. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle. You guys might know us from the internets on the Twitches when we do the video game things as Guyver and K-Sig. We'll have links for those down there below too. We both typically, stream at least on the weekends and sometimes through the week. So we'd love to have you guys come in. If we're not playing together, then I'm playing and Guyver is in my chat giving me shit, which is fun.
That's what I do.
Join in on that. It's a good time. It's neither one of us are really great at anything we play, but it's fun. We have fun playing it, and we have fun with you guys in there. So
we suck.
We do. If you want to see Guyver, aka
Like,
Chris,
I'm
scream like a
terrible.
little girl,
Yeah.
he gets terrified, and it's
Come to
amazing.
Spooky Saturday.
Spooky Saturdays are a thing.
I do. I love these. I love these spooky games, but they scare the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm. He's injured himself
We plan
more
on
than once
doing.
on stream.
Yeah, multiple times, and I've also punched the air, testing out VR for Phasmo.
Yeah.
We're probably going to do some Phasmo, and I'll do it in VR just so you guys can point and laugh.
Oh God, I hope you do.
So again, we're gonna post the links for the Discord. We encourage you guys come chat with us. We love hearing from you all. Yep. And we've got to hear more than Justin in there. Please, for the love of God, someone else more than Justin talk. And well, we like B-Rob. We like to hear him. He usually makes good points.
Oh, you guys,
Justin's hair.
All the regulars in there. It is.
We love you all.
I can't hide my jealousy. I'm not even going to attempt to.
So with that, did you explain that we go scene by scene on the Nerkie?
No. So what we do is we go scene by scene on the Nerkie.
Okay.
We do. If you guys are wanting, if you have a short attention span, just this could be your break from that. Painful break. But we like to these special episodes, in our movie and thing breaks down. Like everybody does the quick, digest the movie in 4 or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I guess, so they can hit their 10-minute YouTube thing and get you the information. We'd like to get down to into the meat of the either the movie or the show. If it's something that we're watching, break things down and discuss the scenes, and we'll kind of go through it. And it's a bit of a play-by-play as the episode goes on. So, and there are spoilers. If you guys haven't watched it yet, you've been warned. You're gonna get spoiled. So if you're spoiler sensitive, then go watch it and come back, and then probably to a lot, roughly 115% of the time of the episode, to go back and hear our breakdown of it.
Right, and the reason a lot of the positive feedback we've been getting on this is we'll try and go into the Easter eggs. Well, we're not going to try it. We are going to go into the Easter eggs, and we'll try and tell a lot of the backstory from either what we can find or what we know. So if you guys have more to add, just add it. So with that, we'll shut the hell up and we'll get started.
Yeah. Let's go. Chris has a lot of, especially the Marvel, the MCU stuff. Chris has the comic book background knowledge. I don't. A lot of this I'm coming into as the episode and the movie watcher, and I'm learning as we're going through this. So if you guys are not comic lore proficient, I'm going to be asking a lot of the questions that you may be thinking of. So I swear it's not me coming off as not knowing what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know, but maybe a little bit. I've got a lot of questions because I'm not as vested time wise in the lore as Chris is, or some of our guests are that know the comics in and out. I know what I've seen. I know a little bit of what I read here and there. So I'm going to have a lot of questions that you guys may be asking yourselves. Chris will have most of the answers. No pressure. But he's going to know
no pressure. So. I like comics. I like a lot of the sci-fi stuff. Like when we come down to the music episodes, like Kyle's going to trump me on those, especially when it comes to certain genres. The upcoming podcast for Monday, we're recording this on Tuesday right now. The next one that's coming up is with props. I didn't know shit about any of that stuff except what I read on the internet. So, a lot of that's just us asking questions. So that's the beauty of this show. And again, let's hit play.
Let's hit play. So we're where are we at?
I'm at 7.
We're at the beginning.
I'm at 7 seconds right now.
That's good. At 14. Good beginning, good place to start. Kind of noticed I paid more attention to the opening scroll this time than I think I ever did. And so now I want to go back and look at the beginning of WandaVision. After I saw it, I kind of thought about it a little bit because we talked about it. It seemed like this was updated, at least for, I think we talked about it possibly being updated at least for WandaVision, because you saw some little snippets in there from like Endgame and like the movies later on in the scroll. So I guess if you haven't watched any of those movies, there's spoilers in the opening scroll there.
If you haven't watched any of those movies, where the hell have you been?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call it.
Watched them. I'm
gonna call it.
Oh yeah, go back and watch them. It's great stuff.
You owe it to yourself. So
what this first? Yeah, I was gonna say this first scene when you see he's ironing. What did you think was happening right here?
I just thought.
Initial thought.
An initial thought. I didn't know what to think at this point. I was so damn excited about this. I literally went in not knowing, because I intentionally tried to not read a lot of spoilers about this show.
Right.
To be honest with you, I only watched the first trailer just to get hyped for it.
That's more than I watched because I wanted to go in. I like to go into some things completely blind. Like,
right.
There's some trailers and stuff you can't avoid, but I want to go in, completely blank.
Right. So I didn't know what to really think of this because on one hand, like I said, I think I was just too excited for the show to really think about this first opening of the ironing. Because I'm like, I don't know who this is at first initially.
Yeah, well, as soon as I saw it was Sam and he was getting dressed, to the nines, he was getting dressed up nice, right? So suit, everything, but it wasn't like dinner party suit. It wasn't like going out on the town kind of suit. I was like, he's going to a funeral. That's the first thought I had in my head, that like maybe Cap's funeral, maybe somebody else's funeral. It was really somber tone, and that was my first thought, was he was going to the funeral.
So as he's getting ready, we see Cap's shield on the bed.
Yep.
Which means this is right after some sort of time period, right after Endgame.
Yeah.
Right after the last scene of Endgame. It could be weeks, could be months. We don't know yet at this time.
Right. We just know it's after Endgame. And we know from things that we've read, this is supposedly going on roughly the same time. Fairly close to WandaVision, but it hasn't been said if it's happened concurrently, which WandaVision only took place over 8 days?
Yeah.
In all reality.
Something like that.
Not counting the flashbacks and all the other shit, but it was a compressed timeline for it. And so this, we don't know yet. And we'll find out, I'm sure. I'm sure there's going to be some nods to whatever was happening in WandaVision here.
Well, and then you see, we go to Cap's shield on the bed again, just kind of sitting on this old-timey quilt. And Sam's just kind of looking at it, just almost sad.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to pick it up. And, he picks it up for a sec, puts it down, then picks it up again. And then he puts it in this bag, which is actually the first Easter egg of the episode.
Hit me with that, because I have not looked up any Easter eggs yet, because I wanted you to tell me all of them.
This is the same bag. This is the same bag that Steve uses.
Oh, okay.
That he gave to Sam. So this means, this could mean a couple of things. This is days after Endgame, or this is Sam's holding on to it because Steve gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's the same bag that Steve gave it to. It's not much of an Easter egg, but it's an Easter egg, especially to Endgame, the end of Endgame. And then here's Easter egg number 2. You hear Steve going, "How does it feel?" Like someone else, like it's someone else's. And he says it isn't. This is the end scene. It's the final conversation of Sam and Steve from Endgame.
Which it was never confirmed if Steve, like it's kind of been alluded to that he just died of old age, but it wasn't confirmed, right?
Right. Was not confirmed.
Was not confirmed. So he could,
at least during this point.
At this point, yeah. And that's why I was thinking funeral. I thought that's what this was going to lead into. It's like, okay, because we knew that there was going to be a new Cap. That there's a chance that it more likely should be, Falcon, could be Winter Soldier, could be Sam, could be Bucky. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, Cap's dead. Steve is dead. This is about to be the passing of the torch at the funeral, something like that. And so,
Good point. So next thing we see is this really killer shot of this transport plane flying out of the clouds.
Mhm.
And then we hear some voiceovers. Obviously people talking, and they're talking about the criminal organization LAF. I call them Laugh. Is targeting Captain Vissant.
So
And he's,
LAF, laugh, if you will, is that something that's lore canon, to your knowledge?
I don't quote me on this one because I was trying to remember. I think it is, but I don't think it was actually an organization.
Okay.
I want to say it was referenced in the comics, but I could not remember for the life of me. So one of you all listening into chat, if you know, let us know. I mean, I could look it up, but I kind of had some things going on last week, so
yeah. Well, we can see, like, even with WandaVision, you've got these, like I said, from what I learned from you guys, these factions and things that were present canon through the comics, and they played a little looser with them or reinvented them a little bit, like, swords a little bit different. Who were the beekeepers tied to? The beekeeper suit, that was to
you thought it was AIM.
And so, there's some playing going on with these lore factions that, I've learned about from you guys. That's what I was wondering with LAF, like if it's just a nod, if it's something that could come about.
So, and like I said, I could not remember it, but apparently they're high tech. They're high powered. It's a high powered organization.
Okay.
And they kidnapped this military liaison, captured his plane, apparently mid-flight.
Hijacked it.
So, yeah, which that tells you something right there. If they hijacked a plane mid-flight, this isn't going to be a commercial plane where they bought tickets. This is going to be a military plane in the air.
Yeah, so these guys aren't screwing around. They hijacked an in-flight military plane.
So, and that was guarded by, service people. So
we get to see Sam do I loved him coming out of the plane and the wings coming out.
Okay, yeah.
Like when they seen him.
Yes. So what was important about this is you got to remember this part too is you have to make sure that they said you have to make sure that Laugh doesn't deliver on the threat. And they've entered Tunisian airspace. And apparently this is like a no-fly zone. U.S. military can't be seen out there. So This is extremely important to this part here. Why? We'll find out in a minute. Okay. You like seeing them fly out?
I did. It was a cool visual. Because this kicked off totally different tone than WandaVision. WandaVision was, a little slower, more character development type things. And we're jumping into action right away with this one. And, we've been so long without any your typical Marvel action. We got some in WandaVision. We got some, but we got very small scale stuff, and we had to wait for it, which is fine. I mean, I'm not knocking that at all. I love that whole series, but
it was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait. But here we see he's going, he's inserting, he's going, wings are out. It's it's MCU ass kicking time.
Oh yeah, and I agree with Kyle at every aspect. It was just. The visuals are just amazing. What they're doing, you can't believe this is TV.
On the television box,
they said on the television box, they said you're going to meet up with Lieutenant Torres, who's going to be your contact. Then you see this armored transport down there. This guy looking up in the sky with his little binoculars, and he said, "Sam Torres here," and to me, that rang a bell already. If it's who I thought it was, but we don't find out his name first.
Okay.
So as they're going on, and he's telling Sam, "I'm your boots on the ground. I'll tell you what's going on, how far out you are." He has the HUD. He has all the intel. And then Falcon spots the plane, which was this. I love this scene. I loved this scene so much. He said, any sign of Laugh? I'm like, no, nothing yet. I'll keep tracking the chatter. And he goes up to this Air Force plane and goes up to the cockpit basically by the camera and looks in the window, and the pilot's dead, shot through the head. And then there's this guy right there just, sitting and flying. He's flying the plane. He's flying the plane.
Yeah. Probably singing in his head, hijacking another plane.
I'm so
Thursday.
Just another Thursday. That'll be our next theme song. And Sam relays to Torres, they've already hijacked the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And Torres goes, "Oh, we're gonna need to call some people." That line right there made me instantly like Torres already.
Yeah, he was
because you knew
super relatable from the get-go.
Yeah. So good character.
He's probably gonna die.
And then he's probably gonna die. And the guy's already speaking French, which to me at this point had me thinking, we've already seen a couple of French terrorists in earlier MCU movies, which made me think, are we going to see them again? I don't know. I go, surely not.
Those Frenchies.
The Frenchies.
Yeah. And
then he looks up, he spots Sam, and Sam basically just jumps up and goes backwards and spreads his wings and, catches the air current, which, like I said, just a cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
Just a cool scene. And it's amazing to think how much firepower we see, or not firepower, but just thrust that Sam's pack actually has to keep up with a full transport plane in full flight and actually overtake it. Then as he's there, this guy comes up in this purple and gold suit. And that's the point I go, is that him? I think it is. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember what his name was, but I'm curious who you think him was based off the color scheme.
Batroc from the Winter Soldier, the guy he fought on the ship, the opening scene that they invaded. And he kind of kept up with Steve for a little bit. Really good fighter, the French guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "Put down the shield, fight me like a man." That guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And sure enough, that was Batroc.
Okay, okay, I didn't catch that.
And here's the thing: that's the colors that he wears in the comic book.
Okay.
So I was telling Mrs. Guyver, my wife there, I was telling her, there's this one scene, there's a couple scenes he's looking at the camera. I go, look, it's best choice Nick Jonas. Except he's a lot bigger. But if you look, he kind of looks a little like Nick Jonas.
When you order your Nick Jonas from Wish.
Yeah, that's Wish Jonas.
Wish Jonas.
Wish Jonas. But yeah, it's Batroc.
Okay.
And he's saying, there's a man on the windshield, and he's like, Louis, I'm going to kill you. He kind of smacks him on the head. It'd be like you and me if I said something like that. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, whatever. And Falcon goes, all right, switch into plan B. And then I thought this was cool. He had an X-ray basically with a heads-up target on his HUD from his visor. And he sees two bad guys hurting what he assumes is his target. And he's like, keep him from flopping around. And they're like, he's a fish. Maybe we just need to gut him at this point, which can tell they don't give a shit about this guy.
Yeah.
So, what do you think at that part?
Besides
they were bad guys.
I was waiting to see, I was ready for the entrance because that was, let me go back here. Was that after he scanned the plane?
That was after he scanned. Yeah. He scanned the plane, and then that's when he saw basically the X-ray.
Okay. Yeah.
They were talking about.
And so I was curious. I just
tells him,
waiting to see how he was going to enter. He's got to come in the plane. Mm-hmm. He's not going in through the cockpit because he's been spotted there. So if you can't go in the front door, you got to go in the back door or side door, I guess is what he eventually does. So I was just curious to see how he was going to enter it, which, we did see was the detachable jetpack. What does he call it?
So that is our third Easter egg.
Okay.
Fourth Easter egg, I guess. That's Red Wing.
There we go.
in the comics, Red Wing is an actual Falcon, Red Falcon, that he has a telepathic link with.
Okay.
So it's actually a really cool bird because, he can tell it what to do, and Red Wing can relay information to him, much like this can, except it's a drone here and a lot more firepower. Firepower.
Like I already know, because like my position on superheroes, and like I like them, and so that's where Falcon, like I'm kind of excited for this. I'm partial to Hawkeye and Black Widow, Iron Man, because they're super normal people, or normal super people super normal. Wait,
Kyle likes ROAS.
I got in a loop there, but yeah, I mean he's just a normal dude that is
I agree,
really freaking talented. So that's I'm kind of there's no super serum, there's no cosmic rays, there's no gamma radiation. He's just a guy that trained and threw on some badass wings and is kicking tail in the skies right now, or about to be. So that's I get more and more excited about this show the more I think about it, just because of that aspect.
It's kind of refreshing in a world full of superheroes that we're seeing, because superheroes are kind of, I don't know if you all have been around the past 10 years or not, but superheroes are kind of flooding the market, and it's most of them are super powered.
Well, and I've been watching
like
The Boys over the last week and a half. So I'm a little cynical to people with actual powers. They can be assholes.
That's not a good example.
I'm just saying that's sticking, whatever.
So
but,
we are going to Nerkie The Boys, and we are going to actually have a in-depth review of the comic too, and the comparisons between the two, and then we'll do a comparison between the two, because I actually gave Kyle the second omnibus so he can catch up. Then we need to get him on 3 and 4, but yeah, that's a story for another time.
Yeah. So let's get into him getting into the plane. So
okay. So what does Red Wing do?
I mean, he does the the kind of the plasma, basically a flying plasma cutter, pops the door open, and I suspend a lot of disbelief. Do that suspension of belief, disbelief, however you word it, for things that happened when the door popped off the plane. I was anticipating some crazy turbulence, the plane going nuts, because you got that drop in pressure. That's kind of what happens with the plane, and eventually it did start dropping. But I was wanting that initial like wiggle of it going down. It took it a little bit to happen. They started dropping, but then you get to see some real good Falcon ass kicking, and the utilization. Did he use his wings here as the shield? That was something I wanted to.
Yeah, we do.
And so,
we get to see how awesome of a fighter. So, Steve was Rogers, Captain America, had the super soldier serum. So his punches packed a punch, if you will. He was trained, to fight.
Yeah.
By the military. So was Sam, but Sam doesn't have any superpowers. Sam is just, he's Black Ops trained basically. And he's an awesome fighter. Well, like, I don't think we really got to see that in the movies, but he's gone hand to hand. He's taken on 4 guys here.
And the fights with Batroc in this, because those are so good, look so good. Because I mean, who plays him, right?
Who, Batroc?
Yeah.
No, Nick Jonas.
No, the George St. Pierre, the UFC fighter.
Oh, that's really him?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yup. And so that's
is
why his fights look so awesome. He's in here briefly, but it's a great fight. So and not a bad actor.
No, he's actually not.
Little quick part there, but not a bad actor.
And and I really like the part where Sam kicks out his wings and kicks him. That was pretty cool.
I really liked when he pulled the wings around to form a shield. Like when I saw that, I'm like, foreshadowing. Like he's got his shield, and it was in 100% intentionally in the shape of a shield. He wasn't shielding with his wings. His wings became a shield, And then it was quick.
So what do you think that's foreshadowing? I think I know what I think.
I mean, I think it's eventually foreshadowing him taking on the helm of Captain America by the end of this run, or at least by the end of this series, setting it up for him to. He may not do it by the end of the series, but I think
he may do it in Phase 4.
May do it in Phase 4, or I mean, Marvel could do it at the end of this because we've been so starved for content for the last year and a half that they may rush some things through, and I think they can. They have the ability to rush them through without them feeling rushed. Right? We got a full story out of WandaVision in 9 episodes. There was enough there that could have been 2 feature films. There was enough content there that could have been 2 feature films. So, I mean, you think about it, we got 2 movies worth of content in WandaVision. We have a few less episodes here, but I think given the Marvel treatment, because I mean, these are not low budget TV shows. This is high budget, good quality shit. That I think that they can push it through. I mean, they're doing miniseries, is what it is. Back in the day, Friday night ABC, you had the 2 or 3 or 4 part or Stephen King movies spread out over 8 or 9 hours. That's what we're getting right now. We're getting a major movie busted up into sections. This could have been its own movie. WandaVision could have been its own movie. Well, this could be its own movie. I mean, I'm fairly confident we'll see after the run of it that you could watch it at length, binge it, and it'll feel like a very long movie experience, not like you're watching a TV show.
Right. And what's important to note, why we think that this could be Sam taking up the mantle. In the comic, Sam did take up the mantle of Captain America for a while.
Who are alternatives, though?
Who are alternatives for taking up the mantle? Well, there's one at the end of this episode.
Right. We'll cover that one.
There is the Punisher took up his shield for a while in the comics, which we haven't seen the Punisher because Netflix owned the right to the Punisher. Extremely important to note that all the Netflix shows, they had a 3-year contract where Marvel couldn't do anything with them.
Right. That
3 years is up. There's rumor that Daredevil's in the new Spider-Man movie.
So it's Foxverse all over again.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's not as big a floodgate, but it's,
No. Well, Netflix I think Netflix did a great job with the Marvel stuff because it got us excited about stuff again.
I watched a few episodes of The Punisher. I really liked it. I wanted to finish it.
I never even started it.
I watched a couple episodes, dude. It was gritty. It was grittier than anything the MCU. I think grittier than anything the MCU stuff is doing. So if the Punisher shows up and it kind of holds that grittiness, it was. I hate to make that comparison, but we've talked about how the DC Universe stuff feels grimier, feels grittier and darker and stuff like that. To me, the Punisher Netflix series had that feel. Yeah.
Well, that's how kind of Daredevil was too. The second episode of Daredevil was this 8-minute fight scene with no camera breaks.
Nice.
And it was amazing. I just remember seeing how good it was, and it was just well acted. So I'm excited the prospect that these characters might make it in. Punisher took up the mantle for a little bit. There's a couple people who took up the mantle. It just depends on who you're talking about, but there's one main one that we're going to talk about in this end of this episode.
Okay, well, let's roll on through the fight.
Okay, so Batroc kind of gives him this shit-eating smile and shoots at him. They strap the captain on. Was he a captain? I can't remember. They strap the soldier onto their back and jump out into these suits. The best way I can describe these suits is if you saw, was it Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, I think, where Josh Duhamel's character they all jumped out of the plane.
Oh, the wingsuits.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the wingsuits. Like Godzilla. They were in the first Godzilla movie, the 2014 Godzilla.
Basically flying squirrels.
No, flying squirrels, yeah. So they all jump out of that. And then you see Torres on the ground going, Sam. Sam's not paying attention because Sam's just trying to stay alive at this point right now.
Yeah.
He shoots at Sam and it's a wing again. So it's not the shield. So that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that shit-eating grin just pisses you off. He jumps out. Sam just jumps out, and I love this somersault he does. He's like, I do this for fun.
Yeah, it's a little flair.
And then I like Torres because Torres is watching the whole thing, and he goes, "Oh!" and starts laughing.
Oh yeah, he's fanboying it up. And like,
makes me instantly like Torres.
Mm-hmm.
They jump out, and then this is the start of the most incredible. I think it's probably one of the best fight scenes that we've had to date in the MCU.
Fight or flight?
Both.
Oh.
Thank you. I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? Yeah. I didn't even mean to do that. It just happened.
We haven't had a fight fight scene like this ever in the MCU.
True, because we don't have
amount of guys.
We don't have a lot of flying superheroes.
Mm-mm. And the couple that we did, it wasn't to this level.
No. I mean,
this was a dogfight. It really was.
Yeah.
Midair dogfight. And I thought it was cool. Batroc, flipping over and shooting the dual guns at Sam.
Mm-hmm.
All while this is going on. I thought that was just really cool. And Sam is just doing circles around them, and he grabs one guy and pulls his parachute, and there goes the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing we know, they're going through these canyons, and they're going through these small crevices because they don't have anything wide. It's just their flight suits.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you call them?
They're wingsuits.
The wingsuits.
Yeah.
Sam's having to go around because he's too wide to get through, and then they go through this one part, and Sam's wings start scraping the canyon. Okay, and I will totally admit this. I like stuff to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
All I could think about was how scratched up the tips of his wings were going to be at that point.
Oh, God, that's going to leave a mark. He's going to have to paint
it. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I'm like, he's going to have to paint it. I'm like, is there...
I'm sure he's
who's he
not
going to take that to?
Like, I bet they got a guy for that.
You think?
Probably.
Because
I don't think he's sitting in there with a grinder just buffing all the scratches out.
Oh, so let's talk about that for a sec, because this is important to note. Very important part that we forgot to say is Sam isn't working for the military doing this.
Well, he's not officially
not officially working for him. And that's what they tell him at the beginning. The U.S. military can't be involved on this. This is why we brought you in.
Yeah.
So just keep that in your back pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's working for he's not working for the military. One of those things.
Again, keep that in your back pocket because that's going to come up here later.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Okay. So he's ruining his wingsuit.
He'll be fine.
Wings. He better paint that shit. And then all of a sudden, I love this part. They make it through the canyon, and then you hear this helicopter, and it is it's like an attack chopper.
Mm-hmm. Helicopter guys, let us know what kind of helicopter that is. I know there's probably one of you guys out there.
So yeah, I guarantee you, Vet, you'll probably know.
Vet, props, one of you guys.
Someone.
Yeah.
And then I love this because he's trying to dodge. There's two of them, and he says, "Red Wing, get him off our asses." Again, so this is not the first time there's a curse word in this, which I thought, again, holy shit, this is Disney. We're watching this on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, but you can't watch it on your kids' account, so you know it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. But still, you don't really expect that cursing in the Disney Plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stay tuned for a couple of weeks when we do the episode about Disney movies that you didn't know were Disney movies.
Oh, that's 2 weeks away after this podcast.
Yeah. Hot fries, mother. Okay, so we got.
So Red Wing fires this missile at the helicopter, takes out one. It goes boom.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, Sam and Red Wing are just going around. I don't think the helicopter knows who to shoot at this point.
No.
Red Wing starts firing off this little Gatling gun. And while they're concentrating on Red Wing, Sam flies under it, turns around, shoots this guy with a tow cable, basically, and throws him off the helicopter, which was just awesome.
Well, and what was cool coming up to that was I don't know if we got past it or not. The Frenchy terrorists in their wingsuits basically docking into the helicopters. Like they would come in at an angle under the props and like land like in the helicopter. That was freaking cool. They would just kind of glided right on in, you know.
Which is, if this was, I don't know if this was CGI'd or not. I'm gonna go and say it probably was CGI'd.
Them landing in the helicopter.
Yeah.
God, I hope so, because that's dangerous as hell.
It is, but it was really cool. Like, I'd love to see the behind the scenes if this was CGI'd or not. I mean, obviously, Sam flying was CGI.
Nope, that was real.
No, that's real. Okay, my bad.
Don't break
Sam,
my immersion.
I'm sorry if I offended you. That's what I do. But God, I kind of hope it wasn't, because that was just freaking awesome of them getting in the copter.
Yeah.
He catches up with the guy carrying the captain. Some guy else grabs him. You know, they start fighting. And then I thought this is really important part too. They go inside the copter, and there's Batroc. He's telling them, "Keep going. We're close." They're getting to that border because Torres, told him, "You cannot get to the border."
Mm-hmm.
This is no fly. They do not want Americans in there, especially American military.
Right.
He grabs the captain, and if you look, I keep calling him the captain, whoever he is, Valorant, starts with a V. Big
Valorant?
V. No. He tells him, if we get to the border, he's not going to follow. He just has this defiant look. If you do the right pause, like 742.
Oh God, I'm 2 minutes ahead of you.
Are you?
Yeah, I keep
he
forgetting
tells
to pause.
him, he tells him, the look tells him, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you hear this clicking, and there's Sam sitting in the copter. And I love this line. He just goes, "What's up?"
Yeah.
This guy tries to attack him, and he punches him in the throat. But as he does that, another important thing to note, actually, I've talked to a couple of people. They missed this. He got shot. They shoot at him, and it shoots his thruster on his jetpack.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Because that
some
does
people
come into
missed
play.
He throws one guy out. One of the guys grabs Captain V, Big V.
Yeah.
And they go out. They kick Sam out, but as Sam's going out, he throws this, what is it? Like a grenade almost?
Like a little sticky,
Semtex.
Little sticky thing. Little sticky boom.
Little sticky bomb.
Yeah, little sticky boom boom.
Sticky boom boom,
Yeah.
and explodes the copter, which was just an awesome part. It really was.
Hey, when I get sticky boom boom on my chopper. But
Sam gets his wings out. Sticky boom boom on my chopper. They better have a sticky boom boom cleaner for that.
Mm-hmm.
I
bet Harry has something.
I bet Harry does have something for that. Sticky boom boom cleaner. Oh, write that down. As Sam goes to turn and get away from the debris, he's trying to catch up with the guy who's going for the border. You see in his HUD, there's a thruster malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And Torres is like, "You're about to head into Libyan airspace." And he's like, "Is there a problem?" He's like, "Yeah, a big problem. A big problem. We don't want to go into Libya." Batroc goes into Baltroc. I like Batroc better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll call him Batroc.
Batroc. No.
Apparently, I've been calling him all. No, Batroc.
Batroc.
I like that.
Batroc.
Batroc. So he gets in this other copter that is, just a minute or two from the border. Specifically 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's trying to catch up, and he sees this missile locked on, and two missiles just blow past him. And this is the coolest scene. So that looked like a Cobra, or like maybe, what was the Marine one? The Sea Stallion? I can't remember. It's one of the ones that has the missiles and the little Hellfire missiles on the side. It comes out of the dust, which was just a we're going to keep saying it. This whole scene was a cool damn scene.
Yeah.
It really was.
Lots of explosions. We really need explosions.
We need explosions.
I'm a big
We
fan
love
of explosions. Mm-hmm.
So they're shooting little Hellfire missiles at Sam. He's dodging left and right, like, which is just amazing. But then if you think about it, it really isn't that big a deal if you think about the Winter Soldier when he was dodging the helicarriers, all the guns, the gunfire, anti-air gunfire that they were doing.
He is very nimble.
He is nimble. They call him Old Nimble Sam.
Old Nimble Sam flying through the skies.
Old Nimble Sam. And when he did kind of the somersault in midair, that was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then we hear Torres, oh shit, he's outnumbered. Again, there's our next cussing, which was just kind of cool for me on Disney because it's Disney.
Yeah.
And Sam is just basically, he's just holding on at this point against this attack chopper. And he almost runs into the blades of the other helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
He does a U-turn, basically circles around for one of like what, 4 or 5 missiles that's after him, goes back and hits the helicopter that's shooting at him, you know, destroys it. And Torres is saying, you know, man, we got to call this off. We got to find another way. And then all of a sudden, Sam's HUD, we see this reroute complete, you know, thrusters damage, reroute or malfunction, reroute complete. And Sam's just like, I just did this smile and just burns forward. Turns on the thrusters, goes through the open cockpit and grabs Big V, like just full speed and goes out, which it was so cool. It really was.
Yeah. High profile rescue with the rocket still in tow, which was important because, you know, he saves El Capitan V and, you know, Batrock is pissed. Batrock.
Oh, it is Batrock.
Is it Batrock? I don't know.
It is Batrock.
It is? Okay. So Batrock, you know, he's pissed. He sees the rockets. He bails out last second, right before the explosion. So,
which means he survived again.
Yeah. You get your typical, damn it, he got away again villain moment. But because you see him just, you know, real briefly, he flies away and coasts on into Tunisia to safety. Because I guess Tunisia is a safe haven for French terrorists. I don't know. My. It is now.
Apparently it is.
Yeah.
It is in our universe.
Yeah. And he lands in you know, Sam lands with yeah, and think about that captain. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's back up. Because this is what we do. He's been thrown out of an airplane, a helicopter, and a helicopter again. Like he's, you know, he was just doing his thing, going from A to B in the plane, gets hijacked. These French assholes beat him up, throw him out of a plane while he's strapped to him, land him in a helicopter. He ends up going out of that helicopter to another helicopter. Wait a second, did he switch helicopters? Either way, he fell a lot through this whole.
He went through multiple helicopters.
Like, and he doesn't say anything during all this. He's just like, well, back and forth.
I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah, he's a lot calmer, you know. So he's well trained, I guess. I would have been losing my shit every time, like But that'd probably be more French, like I guess. Because were they French too?
Who?
Captain
the
V?
terrorist?
No, the
Captain V.
soldiers.
No, Captain. No, they were American.
Oh, okay. I've been saying a lot of French words anyway.
As far as we know. There
have been a lot of French coming out.
Kyle's beard would be all sticking straight up over his eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. No, then I wouldn't have to see it. I was like, just cover it up. I don't want to. It's almost long enough. We're getting there. I got a built-in mask now. Just kind of flip it up and cover.
So another Easter egg, important to note.
Ooh.
The first fight scene that we see in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Sam versus Batrock, right?
Mm-hmm.
First fight scene we saw in Captain America: The Winter Soldier was Steve versus Batrock.
It's Sam. It's Steve. Sam again.
Just a parallel. Just a parallel. So is this setting up for the end of the series? Could be.
Somebody needs to kill that son of a bitch. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
He is slippery.
So we see he is. We're in. Is it Tanzania or Tunisia?
Tunisia.
That too. Tunisia, Tunisia, Tuvalu.
Piss off all our Tunisian listeners.
We don't have any there yet.
That's why
we are at a solid 1%. We are at a solid 1% in Ireland now.
Nice.
Thank you, Ireland. Apparently,
Ireland.
the person in Ireland told their friend. So we got 2 in Ireland, is what I'm guessing. Oh, we got Germany now too. Someone in Germany and someone in UK. So we're international. So I'm sorry for the what was it? Tunisians?
No, the Tunisians. They're fine. They're not listening.
Tunisian. Okay. You're not listening anyway.
Yeah.
We see a shot being put down before Sam, and we see Torres grabbing it. Then we see Red Wing in this bag, and then there's Sam obviously repairing his suit.
Yeah, he's repairing a obviously multi-million-dollar piece of equipment with a soldering iron on a dusty street market table.
Yep. And Torres looks at it and he goes, "You could try and reroute that to the other." And then Sam's like, "Hey, could you not?" He's like, "Oh, it's like, my bad, man." And Sam's like, "I've been working with the Air Force for 6 months now." So we think that the time period between the funeral and this was 6 months. For Steve, maybe. Or this is a flashback.
I think this is I don't know.
I don't know either. Now that got me thinking. I kind of think this is a flashback.
I think this is after. Well, shit. I don't know now.
I think it's a flashback. I don't know. It's because they don't really tell in the timeline. I want to say this is a flashback because the opening scene shows us Sam getting ready.
Right.
So it's kind of what I think. But, Sam's telling Torres, we need to think about that.
Son of a bitch.
He tells him,
back at it. Okay.
Every time Ops touches him, he gets all glitchy. Like he's saying, "Don't fuck with my shit."
Mm-hmm. Find your own R2.
Find your own R2. And Torres is cracking up, going, "Those poor techs can't keep up with 1 billion returning IP addresses, and your sick ass start level tech."
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy goes, "Hey, Avengers," and he's speaking in Arabic, and he tells him, "You brought my wife back to me. Thank you." And which means that if you remember in Endgame, the Sokovia Accords and WandaVision, soups are labeled dangerous. They have to be kept an eye on, which makes you think, everyone's afraid of them. That's why we have the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah. Sam's technically not a soup, technically,
but he's part of the Avengers.
So that
would make him a soup.
I think he had a good enough attorney he could argue that in court that he's not a soup. But
which is true.
I digress.
I am not a soup. Agnew, come here. If you guys get that reference, let us know, because Kyle and I are cracking each other up on this.
I don't care if you're laughing. I'm laughing.
So this goes to show that not everyone is against the soups, which I thought this was really important to show that there's still people out there who love them and appreciate them.
Yeah.
And Sam's very humble about it. He's just like, always happy to help, sir. Didn't ask for anything. And Torres is sitting there with his phone. And he's like, "Could you say that again in Arabic?" Like he's recording the whole thing.
Yeah, and I thought it was odd that like he's working on the tech, he's out in the open, he's doing all this stuff, and he didn't like wig out about Torres recording him. Like no. I would think that would be something to be like, no, don't. We got super secret shit going on here. Don't record this. I don't want it on the Instagrams. But Yeah, he was cool with it. It's like, okay, no big deal.
So, you just think that Torres is just recording stuff like any of us would do if we were in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Oh, look, here's my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm posing with a local.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and Torres is saying, these LAF crews, man, they're trying to take advantage of the chaos and make some money. So this is after they bring everyone back, we know.
Yeah.
And this is after everything that happens in Endgame. So we know what time period we're in. We don't know the time frame yet.
We know what time period we're past.
Right.
We know we have a fairly solid, starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if you noticed. Oh shit, where'd he go? So after he kind of packed everything up, that in the background. So they're in the street market,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You're going past a really important part before you hit that.
Oh no, this is fine. In the background of the street market stuff, you can see there's shops and there's people
Mm-hmm.
buying and selling, people walking. There's a red scarf hanging in the background, and I think that might be a hint to Mephisto. I'm not sure, but
hold on, I'm looking this up. Oh yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That took me a little bit to set up. You gotta give me that one.
Yeah, I will give you that. Again, a hearty fuck you. You bastard. But yeah, you got me with that one. I'm like, there's a scarf? Where's the scarf?
Oh no.
Row, Raggy.
We got away with it too.
But bastard. Okay. Justin sent us this damn text and it said, was it the director or was it Fiji? Who said that Fiji, who said that they'd never even heard of Mephisto.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I didn't read the article. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, sorry, Justin, I didn't read that. You sent it at a bad time. I need to go back and read that now. I need to let him know, like, if he's going to send us long articles to read, it needs to be on or about my poop time. So I can.
Yeah, but I was gonna say during poop time. During
poop time, and then I can really dedicate my focus to digesting what's going on in the art. Probably not the right word to use for that.
I mean, no, digesting my art. No. And we know how Kyle reads comics now. He eats them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He eats them.
Retain the knowledge.
If they go, oh, what happened? What does that look like? Oh, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. That's you don't want to be around when I'm on a Toxic Avenger kick, because that's bad news.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So, just of note, if you want to talk to Kyle about something and him think in depth, do it during his poopy time.
Yeah, ask me ahead of time. Like, you about to poop? Yeah, okay, cool. Then you need to read this.
Cool. Literally digest this.
Mm-hmm. So the important thing that I didn't skip over when I faked you out.
Okay, good. Yes, you got a complete fake out. So Torres is looking, and then all of a sudden, it's like this big hand pops up, which means it's like AR or AVR, augmented virtual reality.
Yeah.
Like the 19 Crimes wine bottles or the Walking Dead wine bottles, you can use the AVR app and they actually come to life. I think that's kind of what this is. You can hide it in plain sight.
Like he was doing Pokemon Go, but with the the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim and from Elder Scrolls.
Yes. It looked like the orc handprints from Lord of the Rings. Like when they put it on the orc eye. On the halfling.
Or just a hand.
Or just a hand in red. Way to ruin that.
So, yeah, I guess it could just be a hand.
I guess it could just be a hand. And he said, you see these guys, this is who you need to worry about. He's stumbled on their manifesto on message boards. I'm like, he's going on message boards? And then he says they call themselves the Flag Smashers. Here's your next Easter egg. Flag Smashers in the comic is a villain. It's not a group. It's a villain named Flag Smasher. And he is one guy. He clashes with Captain America quite often in the comic. His goal is to liberate Earth from national rule. He doesn't like governments.
Yeah. It's basically like what he was talking about with the group. Well, it could still be just one person, but the group is taking on the name.
Yeah, that's true too. We don't know yet. It's only episode 1.
No.
But so he's the anti-Cap. Captain America is all about, the government, life, liberty, and the American way. Flag Smasher is against all of that.
Basically anarchy. All for them. Yeah.
Exactly. And Torres mentions that they think the world was better during the blip when half of the population went away, which is a really interesting statement. Torres is like, trust me, it wasn't.
Like Thanos super sympathizers. There we go.
Yeah, right. And then, which I love that Falcon says, is where he says, trust me. It gets better for one group, but for another group, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Every time something gets better for one, it gets worse for another. So, which means it's cause and effect.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be an important line because they kind of emphasize this part. He says, yes, essentially these people, they want a world that's unified without borders. So my guess is under the rule of Flag Smasher. I don't know.
Could be.
It could be.
There's something else I got from that whole run right there before, because after this, they cut to Washington. But Torres makes a comment, of all the things that the rumors and stuff that Sam was up to. And he's like, oh, well, there were rumors that you were at a base on the moon. And then, at the end of the conversation, he's like, I got to go. And he's like, go do moon stuff. So there's some like possible alluding to more space stuff, like sorty space stuff, maybe like a little subtle hint, maybe not. Maybe it might have just been a little thing of humor, but Marvel knew damn good and well that's going to put that thought in a few people's head. So they did in mine.
So
like, ooh, space stuff.
Ooh, space stuff.
He's candy.
And Sam tells him, if anything, gets serious, let me know, which means, I'm going to come running.
Yeah.
And Torres is just like, I'll check the chatter. I'll see what they're saying. And he did talk about that. He said, I got to ask you about this. There's a lot of talk about Steve, conspiracy theories. And then that's when he brought up the, the secret base on the moon.
Yeah.
Looking down over us. And then, Sam just kind of looking, just kind of not really, he's dismissing it while not dismissing it at the same time.
He wasn't very convincing about it. Like they left enough, a little bit of. I'm going to hang on to that one.
Right. So there is, he's talking about how, whoo, you're not flying him there. So this is important to note too, that the banter between Torres and Falcon, this is the first time that they really sit down and talk, because before they were on the mission. But it's like they've known each other for years to me, like just chit chat.
They hit it off really well.
Very reminiscent. Yeah. And this was reminiscent of me, again, of the Winter Soldier when Steve first met Sam on the left. On the left. Just how they immediately started talking like they were old friends.
Yeah.
So that was very reminiscent of me, like maybe a potential partnership coming up, maybe. I mean, we know it's going to be him and Bucky in this show.
Yeah, but he's going to be
the title.
Obviously involved. Like they set him up too good right then to not be. He's. I'm not real confident for his fate throughout this series. He's gonna get Coulson maybe, but they introduced somebody early on that we're going to connect with and we're going to really like, and just to rip him away from us. Feeling that's going to happen.
As Marvel does.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Sam's going off and he's like, Taurus is like, where are you going? He's like, Washington, do moon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus is like, oh.
Okay, so this happened right before we saw him, the opening scene then. So this was just like right before that, because he was going to Washington to the Smithsonian for this dedication thing that we're going to see in the next scene.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So it was in the past.
Yeah, it was briefly, it was directly before we saw the opening scene, like days before.
So there's where we are on the timeline.
Yep, we figured it out.
Yay, we're the smartest. Zoidberg is the winner. See a picture of Steve and you hear Sam giving what we assume is, we think it's like a eulogy.
I thought it was.
We're not sure. But then we look and it says Smithsonian all over the banner. So we know he's at the Smithsonian.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the shield in front of me, or in front of, not me, him. It was technically in front of me too.
Yeah, if you're sitting in the correct area. Yeah.
And then here is important to note, we get the time frame of where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
Sam says a few months ago, billions of people reappeared after 5 years. So we're a couple months after Endgame.
Yep. So we're
2-3 months.
That puts us not too far after WandaVision. All this is rolling out fairly quickly.
I'm wondering if it's during the same time period as WandaVision.
Could be. And they just, WandaVision, or the whole WandaVision or Wanda event thing could have been kept really well under wraps. Because that was,
which, if it's Sword, it probably was.
Yeah, because that was Sword shit. That wasn't Shield shit. So
don't step in the Sword shit.
Don't step in the Sword shit or the Shield shit.
Or the Shield shit. Don't step in shit. So Sam's giving this speech, and then here's another Easter egg. You look out in the audience, and there's Rhodey. There's War Machine.
Oh, he's showing his age too, isn't he?
God, is he ever?
Yeah. Still looking good, but he looks old.
Yeah. Anthony Mackie still looks extremely young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Falcon, but yeah, Don Cheadle.
Mm-hmm. Well, how old is he? Now, let me look here.
I don't know. He's got gray hair.
He's not as old as I thought he was. Yeah, he's 64, so he's born in 64.
Is he really 64?
Well, he was born in 64, my bad. So he's 50, 56, somewhere in there. I can't do the quick maths right now.
He's not 64. Damn close enough.
Yeah.
Which is not that old now.
He's in his late 50s.
So Sam's talking about symbols, and it's just a really great speech. And he's like, men and women give, they're nothing. Symbols are nothing without the men and women behind them. And he's like, this thing picks up the shield, and he's telling him, I don't know if there's ever been a greater symbol. But this is just a symbol. There's the man who propped it up is who the identity was. It's not the shield.
Mm-hmm.
The shield's just the symbol for the man, which again, it's just a great speech. And he's like, today we honor Steve's legacy. We'll also look to the future, which I swear to God at this point, I thought he was going to announce, I'm taking up the shield.
Yeah. Not gonna
That's
lie.
what I thought at this point.
Glad he didn't, because that'd have been just like, what, in the first, how far are we in this damn thing? Not even 15 minutes.
And then it would be the end.
Yeah. And we haven't even seen Winter Soldier yet. We just got Falcon. No, we don't even have Falcon anymore. We got Captain Falcon. That would have been way too fast.
The end.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, thank you, Captain America. And they get it. And this guy in white gloves, we're going to call him Jeeves. Jeeves grabs it and puts it in the case. And I'm like, damn it. They put his shield in display. And I'm like, and it's like thin glass. It's going to be so easy to take.
Mm-hmm. That's like that anything in a glass case like that in a museum is like a flame to a supervillain moth. Like they're drawn to it. Like, ooh, something just got put in a really clear case in a museum. We've got to go steal it. Like it just ding, it's going off.
Kilgore.
It's like they don't watch these movies. Like they don't know. They're not aware.
They should be aware. They should watch these movies. Then they'd be smart like us.
Yeah. That's just begging for some guy to come down off the ceiling with ropes and a night vision goggles.
Spider costume.
Mm-hmm.
Prowler.
It goes in the case. He's got the white gloves.
Yeah. Rhodey's talking to Sam at this point.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, let's take a walk.
So
and Sam's just telling him, go ahead.
Is this the same place where Bucky walked through? Didn't he visit?
No, Steve visited too. I don't know if that was the Smithsonian or not. I bet it was.
It looks really similar. So
I bet it was. You know what? I bet it is. I bet it's the same Captain America exhibit.
Because Bucky saw the exhibit displayed, whatever, for the Howling Commandos in. Which one was that? In one of them. I'm a little tired. Wheels aren't turning as fast, but you know what I'm talking about. Like yes,
was that? It wasn't Endgame. Was it Winter Soldier?
Maybe. Well, this is an updated one though, because it is while he's talking to him. There's the
or was
wall.
It Civil War?
Yeah, because you see it talks about the blip and the vanish and final mission and all that stuff. So this is at the very least an updated one.
So, actually, I would love it if they had something like that. Like I would walk through it.
Yeah,
I'd walk through it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see Bucky Barnes, friend and brother, killed in action, and then there's a picture of Bucky, which we know he's not, but according to them, he is.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the next sign, it says Winter Soldier from friend to foe.
Go back a little bit. I got ahead of you.
Okay. And then the next sign, third sign, says a threat from within, Hydra. So it's going through the time frame of Captain America, the First Avenger, then the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. And then we're seeing after the Age of Ultron, Civil War, because we're seeing the last sign says the Sokovia Accords. But we zoom in on Bucky. I thought it was really cool. We saw the Hydra guns in there too.
Yeah.
You see Cap's bike. Just a bunch of Easter eggs in here. The vanished. You see the ring that the Maw flew in to New York on Infinity War.
I'm going back a little bit. This was one that I should have went through a lot more. The bombers and the Hydra factories.
Oh, another Easter egg. Backing up a little bit from your comment about the moon, Torres's comment about the moon in space. So the guy who lives on the moon in the comics is, I can never pronounce it. It's like Uatu. Mm-hmm. He's the Watcher. The guy who he in the comics hosted the What If series, because his task, the Watchers, they're these big guys with like these like toga capes, basically big giant heads and big eyes. They can never interfere. Their race's job is to watch history unfold, and they tell its story. They can also see every possibility. They can watch every multiverse at the same time, which we know the multiverse is a big part of Phase 4. Mm-hmm. That's Doctor Strange. We also know that there is a Marvel What If series coming on Disney Plus.
Oh.
With alternate timelines. Like the What If series is like, like what if Bucky had never died during the war? What if Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive pig?
Oh, Spider Pig.
Peter Porker.
Ah.
Then you would know that's what the whole What If series is. So this could be foreshadowing. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's just kind of an important little part there. I think it is. Oh, and then if you look, when he hands the guy the shield too, Captain's on his left. Captain America is on his left, which is a nod to On Your Left.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was still funny.
I'm going through looking through more stuff in the exhibit. So we got now it's Rhodey's talking with him. Oh, go ahead.
So the last sign right next to the vanished, there's a picture of Steve, and if you stop on it, it tells you a final mission. So it tells what happens on Cap's final mission. You can't zoom in enough to see it.
I see it talks about Tony Stark. The help.
It's the return of the Infinity Stones.
There we go, with the death of Tony Stark.
So that's...
Damn these eyes.
So, well, it's not these eyes. It's too small to read.
Yeah. I'm staring at it hardcore, trying to I'm going to get over my other screen.
Is it like when you used to look at the fuzzy channels?
Yeah, we got to adjust the sharpness.
I think that's a boob.
I think it's a boob. We're going to go with it's being a boob.
It's a boob.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was real cool because you see the old comics covers on this little wall, the collage, and then you see the I Want You Buy War Bonds Now picture. And just all the old stuff that we saw from the first movie.
Like you started, yeah. I'm just kind of looking at it. I looked at it before, but I'm up close with my computer screen now, so I can really look at it.
Look at there. So look at that bottom, the comic book cover. On the bottom panel there, that's actually Captain America #1. And that was from 1941. And if you look, that's Cap punching Hitler. It's where they got the nod from the movie, but that's actually Cap punching Hitler. That was Captain America #1.
Is it under the picture of him standing on the Nazi?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Hitler.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So yeah, if you look carefully, that's Captain America #1, which is just really cool. As it's doing the real close thing, you can see Hitler's little stash.
Oh, okay. I guess he's having the talk with Rhodey here.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, yeah, on that. And this is where Rhodey asks him why he didn't take up the mantle.
Right, and we see the shield right next to Cap's final costume.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's a little weird looking. It just that kind of, because it's like a shell of Captain there. He's not there. It's on a mannequin. But
right.
It's just weird looking to see that.
Right, and then Sam's tearing up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is I'm gonna constantly say it. B-Rob was here. He'd make fun of me for saying, you're saying every scene's a cool scene. It's like, yes, because I love this so much.
Yeah.
If y'all don't notice, we get really excited at this stuff.
It's good stuff.
Especially me. So we see this Asian guy walking into this hotel, and it's talking to this woman. And, you're wondering what you're going here. And, they're like, hey, let's go to last call. He's like, I got to go prep for this session. They go off to the hotel bar. Really nice looking old hotel. Old style. Mm-hmm. And then we see these armed guys walking around. Just all over the place. And two guys are standing there. And then all of a sudden we see this metallic arm punch through the wall and pull him back through. And then we see Bucky kick through the wall and start basically killing everyone there. All these guards.
Yep. I like this.
He throws a knife at one. He stabs another one.
This is my favorite.
What's that?
Visual look of Bucky. Like the mask, the badass Winter Soldier look. Like this, out of all the characters, this is one of my favorite looks. Yeah, of all the characters in the MCU, this is one of my favorite looks.
Because it's just an awesome look.
Yeah. He's like,
and then
emo
he
cyborg ninja.
kills emo ninja.
Mm-hmm. Emo ninja.
He wants to kill you, but he just can't. He's too busy like swaying in the corner.
He's got a brood about it for a little
Very
bit.
Robert Smith look. He's just gonna brood. Like, I was a little disappointed they didn't put this scene to like a Cure song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and not for Friday, I'm in love. But Bucky basically kills everyone in this scene.
Yeah.
He jumps down, he does this cool little flip over the railing and catches his target, which is the old guy we see walking. And he pushes him through this door. And as you see this guy in the background just watching the whole thing happen. And he's choking this guy. And then you hear him whisper, "Hail Hydra." What did you think at this point?
And so I was trying to figure out if this was him killing for Hydra or him killing Hydra personnel.
See, I thought that he was, I kind of thought the same, but at the same time, I thought maybe Bucky went bad again.
Oh, okay. So you went a whole different route. Oh, you
Even
relapsed.
Even though the programming was taken out in Wakanda,
yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe they got him again because we don't know what happened in these months.
Mm-hmm.
He basically snaps the guy's neck. The guy chokes, dies. Bucky just looks, and you hear this rattling. And Bucky just calmly looks, and it's that guy who we saw walking in with his comrade saying he needs to prep for the session tomorrow. He can't get the key in the door. And I remember my wife goes, "What hotel has this old-time key in the door?"
Good point. Oh, really?
I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, well, if you watched me stream at dead of night, that hotel has it.
Yeah, but even like, I don't know. I don't stay in a lot of old fancy hotels. I'm just going to assume that they're going to be like the Best Western, and they're going to upgrade to the key cards. You're not going to have something with a tag on it that you.
Yeah, our Tom Modell keeps the light on for you. Mm-hmm. They even have key cards.
They do. They do. I don't know. Maybe I need to stay in more fancy hotels.
So, but yeah.
If you guys listen would like to sponsor
if you guys
want to research, let me know.
Yeah, let us know. We'll definitely do that. Kyle needs a vacation. If you guys want to sponsor a weekend and a special lady friend for him, not that you're paying for a lady friend. Let me specify. You're not paying for a lady friend for him.
No,
he's perfectly fine.
Leave the options out. Don't leave, Listen.
So if you guys want to set up a Patreon for that, let us know.
It's like a GoFundMe, but
sponsor it, Kyle.
It sounds like a GoFundMe. We'll just put it there.
It is a GoFundMe for a good weekend for Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we know our next fundraiser.
GoFundMe, but whatever.
It'd be please fund me.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so so then Bucky wakes up on the floor.
We're going on.
Well, he draws the gun on the poor scared fellow.
On the poor fella. Oh, I just love it how he's stalking this guy too, mm-hmm. like a predator stalking prey is what he's doing. And the guy's like, I didn't see anything. I swear I didn't see anything. And this little Asian guy. Mm-hmm. And then Bucky pulls up the gun and boom, Bucky wakes up. He's sleeping on the floor. Which, he's got all this nice furnishing. And go ahead. I know where you're going.
Oh, yeah. I was say that. I mean, that's a little thing that not everybody will grab. But him sleeping on the floor, he's obviously, well, we see the next scene, he's seen a therapist. So he's going through treatment for, his PTSD. He's seen some shit. And the sleeping on the floor is something that's not uncommon with veterans and things coming back from foreign wars and stuff, because you'll hear neither one of us personally, neither one of us have served, but we have a lot of friends that have, and thank you guys for what you did. You'll hear them talk about one of the biggest adjustments that they had to make when they came back over, especially if they were actually serving in the theater, and that the sleeping on a bed was weird. They could not sleep too soft. Can't sleep on the beds, and they would sleep on the floor because it was hard. That's the only way to be able to get what felt like a normal night's sleep is the hardness of the floor. So that little scene right there was good. That little bit.
I know a couple guys that have been out for 15 plus years and still sleep on the floor. They just can't get used to it. So, I forgot, back up a little bit. So on that board, with all the shots in the museum, I remember I had to actually read about this one because I didn't catch it the first time. There's his card, which he got at the beginning with a 4F stamp. It's his selective service cards on that board.
Yeah.
And then also there's a newspaper article that says 400 prisoners liberated. And that was Steve liberating the captured soldiers when he kind of went AWOL and rescued Bucky. So there's that too. There's your other stuff.
Yep.
This also references Bucky sleeping on the floor. Again, there's a lot of references to the Winter Soldier in this one. Not Bucky, but the movie, which he's in that movie. So I guess it is him, but it's when Sam, when Sam's talking to Steve at the beginning of that, when they're after the On Your Left, when he says your bed, it's too soft, exactly what Kyle was just talking about. So just pretty important. And then Bucky's sitting there just looking. For me, just the look he had, if you guys watch The Sopranos, it's like when Tony used to go into those therapy sessions and just sit there and just look at his therapist and not say a word. That's what this is reminiscent to me about. He's just kind of sitting there, just kind of in his own little world. And you hear this, are you still having nightmares? And Bucky just sits there and he's like, no. And she's like, I can tell when you're lying. We've been doing this a while. You seem off. What
this
happened?
Lady looks super familiar. I'm trying to remember what I've seen her in.
So that's what we were thinking too. Well, she's talking about, are you civilian now? You can't tell from this scene right here, but it's when it pans out on her. First, we thought it was Carmela or Edie Falco from Sopranos, Nurse Jackie. She just has one of those faces where she looks like a lot of other people, but I looked her up and I actually don't know anything else she's been in.
Okay.
She's been in quite a bit. Hold on. Okay. Let me look her up.
Look at her here.
If you haven't.
Amy Aquino? Is that her, Dr. Rayner?
Yeah, that's her, I think.
Yep,
really? Dr. Rayner.
She's been around for a long time. From the 80s. But I don't just see anything that she's been in. Oh, she was in Being Human. I used to watch that. Just a lot of little bit parts, so that may be why she looks familiar, because she was
familiar
in a lot of stuff.
I know that face.
Yeah, I know that voice.
Oh, that would be good. That would be a good 2 episodes for us, 2 podcasts. People I know that face and I know that voice. Well, we need to write that one down. But yeah, I looked her up and I didn't know her. She also kind of looked like Lisa Edelstein a little bit to me too, from House, who played Cuddy. Kind of especially her headshot in IMDb.
Yeah,
I'm like, is that Cuddy? But it's not. So, and then the shrink goes, with your history, the government needs to know that you're not. And she makes the stabbing motion, which means that we know that this is government mandated. He's not doing it for him. This is the government saying, we want to make sure that you're not the Winter Soldier anymore if we're going to let you roam free. And they said, this is a condition of your pardon, which means that after Endgame, Steve must have gotten some sort of pardon for Bucky.
Yeah, that'd be a very Steve thing to do.
Which is cool. Now we know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, tell me about your nightmare. And she's like, I didn't have a nightmare. She breathes deeply at this point, and she grabs her pen like angrily, and he goes, oh, come on, you're gonna do the notebook thing, which I thought this was kind of funny. He's talking why it's passive aggressive, and she's like, you don't talk, I write. It's like, all right, whatever.
I like that passive aggressive comment.
And I did too. And then he said, this is an important part, really important part, I think, for the series too. And he said, I crossed a name off the list of my amends yesterday, which means Bucky, which we don't know if he did this or she suggested it. My guess is she probably suggested it.
Probably.
Of people he needs to make amends to. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. And he said, don't worry, I used all 3 of your rules. And it was Senator Atwood. And I believe Senator Atwood was in the Winter Soldier, wasn't she?
I am not totally sure. I'm going to look up. Who played her here? Big lines. Would have been a little further back. I'm not sure.
Maybe she did. Maybe honestly. She didn't. If you guys know, let us know.
But I don't see anything. Could have been. If you guys know, let us know.
So, Bucky says, yeah. He says, Bucky says she was a hydropon for years. And you see a New York license plate, which means he was in New York yesterday or today or whenever. And he said, I helped her to get into office when I was the Winter Soldier. He's walking around this car with this iPad, and he puts this thing under the front wheel. And so I think what's really, really important to note at this point, Bucky remembers, according to this, everything he's done as the Winter Soldier. So keep that in the back of your pocket.
Yeah, okay.
No, go.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm a little rusty on it, that he couldn't remember previously. Like he had vague,
he does, because
he had vague memories. Well, I'm talking like up to this point, like before this, like past movies. Yeah. I thought when he would come out of his, basically like
because they wiped him.
His trance state, they would wipe him. He would start all over. Well, I guess if he broke free and he wouldn't have got wiped, he wouldn't have been wiped again.
Yeah, like maybe they took off the conditioning. Yeah. I think that he remembers everything he did because he remembered. He said, after Hydra disbanded, she continued to abuse the power that I gave her. So he knew, Yeah.
We're dealing with an unwiped Bucky.
And that's right. And
that's what happens when you don't wipe your Bucky, people.
Don't wipe your Bucky. Keep your Bucky clean.
Mm-hmm.
You see the senator talking, says, if Senator Lockhart wants to speak up, silence him for good. Basically kill him. And she said, then we've cut back to the strength. Rule number 1, you don't do anything illegal. And he presses loose of these rules. Yeah. And he pushes the button on the iPad and the car starts up and the door's locked. And then all of a sudden it starts going backwards real quick. And this is the best controller ever.
Yeah.
And, the senator's like, what the hell? And you watch the car just going backwards. All I did was give some intel to the aide to convict her. And I wasn't involved in anything else. Not saying how he got this information. No. He's basically doing donuts in this parking garage and stops real quick. Senator's crying, and then the therapist goes, "What's rule number 2?" And Bucky's like, "Huh? Well, what was rule number 2?"
I'm going back here.
And she's like, no one gets hurt. And then Bucky says, why isn't it rule number 1? I'm like, yeah, why wasn't that rule number 1? No one gets hurt.
Yeah.
Rule number 1 is don't do anything illegal.
Yeah. Rule number 2, nobody gets hurt. What was rule number 3?
And he said, I didn't hurt anyone. And they're getting ready to get to number 3.
Okay, yeah.
Bucky says, I didn't hurt anyone, I promise. And then it shows him punching out the guy who pointed the gun at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Dr. probably didn't
says,
feel
what was
that,
rule number
honestly.
3? No, he probably didn't. So he technically might not have hurt him, because I think he punched him with his metal hand. And the doctor says the whole point of making amends is to fulfill rule number 3. And Bucky just kind of looks confused. And he says, you're a cynic, Doc. And he's like, of course I did rule number 3. I'm not the Winter Soldiers. I'm James Bucky Barnes.
And he told the senator, like, I'm, here to make amends or make him. So I don't know if rule number 3 was he has to be Bucky and he can't be Winter Soldier anymore, or rule number 3 is he has to let that person know that he's making amends. I don't know if it's which one it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, he's smiling at the doctor, and at the same time he's saying this in the cutscene in the past. Mm-hmm. And he's saying at the same time, I'm James Bucky Barnes, and you're part of my efforts to make amends. And he smiles, just this smile both ways. And you hear the sirens approach, and then all of a sudden, this senator gets captured.
Yep.
Or arrested. And then you see this little book, and Bucky is marking a name off of there. And it looks like this book is full of names.
He's got a few. He's a guy with a list.
He is a guy with a list. And he says, the doc's like, you're going to have to open up one of these days. And people really want to help you. And, you can trust people. And he's like, okay, I trust people.
Do you, Bucky?
And then,
do you?
Why? Yeah. Hey, Bucky. Hey, Bucky. Hey, Bucky boy. She's like, give me your phone. And she's looking through his phone, which I thought this was extremely rude. What if he took some Bucky pics on there?
Yeah.
He's like, this is my Winter Soldier, Doc. He got some Buckies. The doctor's got some Buckies now. She's going through the phone, and she's like, you don't have 10 phone numbers on this thing. You're like, stick that in your back pocket.
Yeah. She's like, she looks, open Bucky's Snapchat.
You've been ignoring the text from Sam. Buck chat.
Yeah. Bucky, you're ignoring all of your snaps. Buck Wild.
They're all from
Soldier
Sam.
429.
Buck Wild 1941. And she's like, you got to nurture these friendships, And she's like, I'm the only person you've called. And she's like, this is sad. You're alone. She's just grilling him. It's like, you're ignoring Sam. What the hell is wrong with you?
She's having a real moment with him. This is a little Bucky intervention.
In his notebook too, if you look at I forgot this is another Easter egg. If you look, the first name is Rostov. That's the reference to the Red Barbarian. That's the guy who imprisoned Bucky in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Under H, fourth one down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Zemo. That's Helmet Zero. Zemo, excuse me. Who is if you remember Civil War, he was the main villain in Civil War.
Okay, run that first one by me again. Who was number 1 on the list?
Rostov.
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 Okay. Keep going. Okay. I'm working on something with this.
So he was the Red Barbarian. Zemo is number 5.
So, okay, not who I was thinking. Okay.
That's Helmet Zero. And he's the guy in Civil War. If you remember, he was the one trying to unleash all the Winter Soldiers.
Yes, we got Rostov. We've got, looks like Mauser, Anod, Talazar, Zemo,
I think that's Hauser.
Henriksen, sorry, Osman. Two
Kaminsky, if you look down towards the bottom. So Kaminsky, that's Len Kaminsky. He's actually a comic writer. He's his main works that he did featured Sam Wilson.
So you had L. Kaminsky, so that's Len Kaminsky. Who would M. Kaminsky be?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but L. Kaminsky is Len.
Okay. Henriksen, Zemo,
and if you look too, here's another reference to the Winter Soldier. That notebook is like the one that Steve wrote down all the stuff from in the Winter Soldier, like Steve Jobs' Apple, Disco Thai Food, Star Wars, like everything that he missed out on that he had to look up.
Mm-hmm.
Nirvana.
Oh yeah. He's got his little black book.
Yeah, that's what it is. So
remember this going on here. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, keep carrying on. There's one I'm trying to think of, and I'm drawing a blank here, but I'll find it as you're going through those.
Okay. Next thing you know, the doctor is telling him you're 100 years old. So we know Bucky at this point is now over 100 years old.
Mm-hmm. There's been some contention on there, like his exact age too.
I think he was, because he was born, I want to say it was 19. He's a year older than Steve. Steve was born in 1918. So that means Bucky was born in 1917. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what the.
Yeah, there was some like some dates of things here and there that they think that it was just like not a typo, but just some continuity stuff that wasn't intentional. That they just may have got some dates mixed up here and there on a couple of things. Right.
So that would make him, as of today, 104 if he was born in 1917.
Red Guardian. That's what I was trying to think of. That's a whole different thing coming up. Okay, never mind.
Oh, Red Guardian. So yeah, no, that's coming up in. He's the hero of Russia. He's the Russian Captain America, and he will be in
Black Widow
this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, was announced today. January 9th is release date on Disney Plus and theater, same time. They finally gave up the fight.
2022?
So. Yay! Yep. Okay. Nope, 2021.
We're already past January 9th. I mean, June 9th?
Yeah, I mean, July. It starts with a J.
The other J.
Don't you contradict me, you fuzzy little man, Peach.
I know I'm excited about that because
it's July.
David Harbour is playing him, so that's going to be great.
I know the difference. But David Harbour, that's Stranger Things and Hellboy, right? The new Hellboy?
Right.
Okay. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor's just grilling him at this point. I think this is like a tough love thing. She's like, you have no history, no family, and he's like, "Are you lashing out at me, doctor?" And he's like, "Because that's really unprofessional, do you know?" He's like, "When did that start? Yelling at your clients?" And like, you can see her jaws just kind of moving because she's pissed. He's like, "Oh, the Notebook, whatever. That's awesome." He's like, he finally gives it, "Give me a break. I'm trying." He's trying to tell her this is new. He's like, "I didn't have any time to myself." And then he said, "The only peaceful time that I've had basically since World War II was the calm in Wakanda." And that was just a little bit of time. And then I just went from one fight to another for 90 years. So, I mean, that could deal with the time frame if he is 104. And if it was 90 years, he would have been 14, which means, we know that he and Steve used to get in fights all the time when they were kids.
Yeah.
Steve also lied about his age to get in too. So
Yeah, I figured they were probably like late.
You know, that could be the time frame. We don't know.
Close enough. It's not. It's within what 5 years maybe. I don't think. I mean, there's some people that are kind of
give or take,
whatever about it. Like it's. I don't see where it'll make a whole hill of beans with anything coming up if there's a span of 5 years of how old he'll be. I don't think it's really going to matter.
Yeah, I don't either.
Somebody in continuity might have messed up a little bit.
So the doctor's like,
his age is close enough.
We'll take it. Mm-hmm. She's like, doctor's like, what do you want? You stop fighting. And Bucky, he looked perplexed by this question. He's like, peace. And she goes, that is other. I love this exchange. I really did love this exchange. She goes, that's utter bullshit. He goes, you're a terrible shrink. And she said, I was an excellent soldier. So I saw a lot of dead bodies and I know how that can shut you down. So they actually picked someone for Bucky who was a soldier who won't put up with his shit, number one.
Yeah.
Who can diagnose him and who's been there.
They needed somebody he could relate to. I thought that was really cool.
Right. I did too. And she's like, if you're alone, that's the most quietest, most personal hell you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's being like, real with him.
It's hard to escape. She is. And I just thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you got your mind back. You're being pardoned. She's trying to tell him, here's the good things you have going on in your life. You don't need to sabotage yourself. You're free. You're not the Winter Soldier anymore. So just a good exchange. And then I thought the last line was super nice. It was, to do what? Bucky basically has no purpose in his life right now. He was told what to do as the Winter Soldier. Now he has nothing. There's no wars. What's a soldier without a war?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's what
they're kind of saying, or a weapon.
They're doing a lot of cool stuff with this character. With this, I mean, with him coming back out of war, him dealing with civilian life again. I mean, it's really similar to what Cap went through. Well, okay, not similar. He's handling it different. It's right. The Bucky version. It's the Winter Soldier version of when Cap was reintroduced into modern society. Except he wasn't frozen for all that other stuff, so. He experienced a lot of it. Technically,
if you go to the comics, Bucky was put into cryostasis after every mission until they needed him again. Because he would do the high-profile assassinations.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's what they're going for here. So that's how Bucky in the comics was able to survive for so long. They put him into cryo.
Well, they didn't say that didn't happen, here. So we could... left it open enough for it. They didn't say it didn't happen, so that could be it.
I'm wondering if it did because we saw the other Winter Soldiers in cryo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense then.
Next thing you know, we're in Brooklyn, and this guy is putting trash in the bin, and this old Asian guy is like, "What are you doing?" And then the guy's yelling at the old guy. He's like, you don't gotta body me, Yuri. So we know the guy is, he's Asian. And then Yuri's yelling at him. It's Mr. Nakajima. And he's like, okay, Mr. Nakajima. They're just yelling at each other. He's like, Bucky comes up, Yuri, what's going on? I thought we were getting lunch. And it's a whole fight over trash can. Mm-hmm. Putting trash into someone else's trash can. And Bucky, I think this shows how Bucky's grown as a character and how he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. It's not the defining trait because he's trying to break up this conflict. Yeah.
It's your typical crotchety old man thing, I guess in New York, you really don't have a lawn, so it's, get off my dumpster. But.
Right.
I like, was it Yuri? Is that his name? Yeah. I like this character.
Yuri.
Yuri?
I did too. I thought he's a great character. And, Yuri's about to hit the guy. And hold on, I got to show you this part where I am. because I paused it on the most perfect scene. I'm gonna have to take a picture of this. This will be our cover to this Nerkie. Let's see, share screen 1. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Look at Bucky's face. That's gonna be our cover,
Nice.
boys and girls.
Go with that. That's a very unique cover.
Okay, well, I'm taking this picture. Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, I see what you did there.
I did the thing.
Okay, why don't you go on while I take this picture then? Yes.
Okay. Oh, crap. Now I gotta switch tabs back over because I've got all kinds of info pulled up here on screen number 2. Then I gotta go back to the tabs and get back over to this, that. So the guy that
Or I can do it. It's just trashing on. Yeah.
You know, he's kind of tangled up with his. How does he introduce himself? So his name is Unique. It's like
yeah, he says it's unique. It's like Monique except with a U.
I like that. It's a little ha-ha moment. A little ha-ha moment, and then
U in there for uniqueness.
And then Bucky, reminds you like, hey, we had, we were getting lunch. I thought we were getting lunch, and he's still being the crotchety old man. He's like, I'm not in the mood for it. I don't want to do it. It's like, well, what if I buy? Okay, well then I'll go. That. Yeah. And you can tell that this isn't like, they know each other. This it's just something that they've done quite often already. And so, they go to lunch, and what are you talking about? Under 90. So they're at looks like a little sushi bar. He's looking through the obituaries, and he makes a comment, nobody made it past 90 this week. So I just took that as everybody he saw in the obituaries was under the age of 90, which makes me think, he's pretty old if he's thinking, that under 90, if you don't make it to 90, it's a shame. 90 is pretty good run. I'll be happy to make it to 60.
Well, and then you're talking to yeah, and then as you're drinking the Monster. Mm-hmm. And then Bucky, he's saying this to the 104-year-old man.
Mm-hmm. Do we know?
Well, and then it's also a callback to that scene. Yeah, we know he's over 100.
Oh, he's saying that too.
We just went over this.
Never mind. I thought you meant Yuri was over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what did he say? Maybe he just looks.
No, we don't know that.
I thought that's what you were talking.
He just
I thought
looks
that's what you were saying.
Do you hate old people, Kyle? Why do you gotta hate old people? I love old people. We have a demographic that's old people. I should probably stop calling you old people.
That's our demographic.
That is our demographic.
Old people.
So that fight scene between Unique and Yuri, that's also a callback to when Bucky saves Steve in the alley in Captain America: The First Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
When Bucky broke up that fight. So they're talking, and then the waitress, tells them, cute little waitress says, oh no, well, like you said, it was funny there when he said no one made it past 90, and Bucky goes, so young, such a shame.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just funny. And then the cute little waitress goes, you didn't order the usual, huh? Feeling a little adventurous? And Bucky's like, how you doing? And then this is what goes with being old and crotchety. You can say whatever you want. Yuri goes, you should ask her out.
Mm-hmm.
And just Bucky's face is like, what? He's like, no. And then Yuri's like, he'd like to take you out on a date. Maybe to bingo or what did he say?
Play pinochle.
Pinochle.
Mm-hmm.
And
so the old man zero shits given vibe. I'm almost there, personally.
It's like, and she goes, he's like, I'm really sorry about him. He's like, and she's like, why are you sorry? And she goes, I'm game. And he's like, wow,
right into it.
And then so Bucky got a date.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is kind of reminiscent again of Steve. Remember when Steve said my last date was 1941?
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, going what he said. You know, you have to dance to these things, or it's a dance to these things. And when he said, "Well, you got to warm up," and he's like, "I haven't danced since 1943." I don't think he means like he hasn't waltzed since 1943. He hasn't polkaed since. I don't think. I think he kind of means like he hasn't, danced.
He hasn't Winter Soldiered since 1943.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He hasn't laid a pipe bomb.
Yeah. He maybe he hasn't horizontal mamboed, so he hasn't danced since 1943. I think that's what he means.
He hasn't got a chance to use out that mechanical arm, is what you're saying?
No, he probably has.
If you
He's
know
been
what
since
I mean.
1943 since he danced. He probably has, but that's
Oh yeah, he probably has.
That's a whole other topic that I don't know if
you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
If you know what he means.
Mm-hmm.
And then she puts up this dessert there, which is mochi, which I love mochi. It's basically rice flour. It's a gelatinous rice flour with usually has something inside of it like ice cream or red bean, or it can have all sorts of stuff in it. Green tea.
I've never had it.
I love mochi. Mochi's delicious.
It's
an acquired taste. If you don't like texture, if you're a textured person, you probably won't like mochi.
Doesn't bother me.
Okay, you might like it then. I think you might like it.
Try anything once.
I will make sure I get some mochi next time I see you.
Yeah. Give me some of that mochi.
I'll give you some of that mochi, that Chris mochi.
That sweet mochi.
Sweet mochi. Again, I don't know if you guys can tell, if you would like to sponsor a night with Chris and Kyle, not us together, but weekend for Chris and Kyle. I don't know if you can tell by all our references. We will take it. But Yuri gets really sad and he's like, what's wrong? He's like, my son, he loves the red bean mochi. And he starts tearing up.
Yeah.
And he's like, my son, he had a job with a consulting company.
There's certain groups
he's working abroad and he was killed.
There's certain groups of sad people that get to me. So watch a lot of movies and, somebody's different demographics of people being sad are hard. Like real life, sad crying woman, I can't handle. I'm like, they get all blubbery and like, what do I need to do there?
You just can't do it.
Yeah. Same thing in movies if it's convincing. And sad little Asian men. It's just so heartbreaking. He sold it so good. It was so heartbreaking. Like the little sad Asian grandpa. Yeah. No, you're not an old Asian guy. You're bordering.
I'm getting there.
You're just a sad Asian guy. There's the difference.
He's trying to say pathetic. See, for me, it's like before I had kids, I could watch like anything, like kids dying in movies, like exploding, like little kids crying because they're scared and they're getting like tortured and their parents are getting tortured, stuff like that. Like not necessarily physically, but psychologically tortured. Once I had kids, I tear up watching fucking Bambi now.
Yeah. I can handle Bambi. Land Before Time.
But you know what I mean, though? Like, yeah, just weird stuff that never used to affect me before I had kids. Now I just like tear up. Or like when I get really excited in a movie, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. And I'm like tearing up and my girls will look at me. I'm like, you're crying.
Maybe you're going through the changes.
And like, maybe I am going through the changes, but yeah, no, it's before I had kids, dude. Like I used to be able to watch this stuff, no problem. But I agree with you. This is just like watching this. I just started tearing up a little. I'm like, Yuri. See, see, I'm tearing up right now.
Well, fast forward.
Fast forward. I know some of you are probably going, these guys are bitches. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I'll have to turn off my camera. I can't see the sad Asian guy.
Right.
Get all.
So, what was important about this part is, he said the police said wrong place, wrong time, but I'll never really know what happened to my son.
Mhm.
And he said, I felt it was strange in my heart. He just didn't know. Bucky has the saddest Bucky face ever.
It is a sad Bucky face.
It is a sad Bucky face.
Sad Bucky needs to be a meme. You should get on that.
Actually, we could probably do that. Let me screenshot that. Here, you go to the next part. Let me screenshot that.
Yeah, sad Bucky, next meme template. We're calling it now. So then we got Sam driving to Louisiana. And he's out. I want to assume. I mean, this is definitely like the coast. He's at a port. There's Wilson family. So you see, when he pulls up, you realize he's around his family. They're a family of fisher people. Yeah, I guess that'd be the word. They're packing stuff up. He sees his, I guess was it nieces and nephews or kids involved, nephews, and his sister, Sarah,
his sister,
and so they go, off on talking about, how like they do the quick introduction, but then they're immediately into family business talk, like fast. She's talking about the state of business with the family business. I guess it would be with the fishing and all that, him being gone.
Mm-hmm.
I skipped forward just a little bit too far. She's kind of trying to like immediately have a conversation with him, but he's talking with the friends and stuff, the locals that are there, and talks about the state of the boat.
Well, the name,
and then
the name of the family business is Wilson Family Seafood. Also.
Yeah. And then he talks about the condition of the boat, and she's like holding it long enough together for me to be able to sell it. And then that's when, we're kicking off family conflict here now, that,
so
we weren't going to sell it. This is the family boat. This is where we grew up on. And they're, I kind of, this kind of hits, like she was holding together. He was gone.
Feels.
But
hitching the Falcons.
I had heard somebody else kind of talk. I saw a thing about this, like after Endgame. So, you've got Wanda who's having to use her powers to build a house, and you got Sam whose family fishing business is failing. It's like after Tony Stark died, like everybody went to shit. Like, does nobody have any money left anymore? Was he like funding everybody, and now they're just all broke? That Wanda's having to build her own house. Sam's losing the family business, but she really gets into about like you can tell like she doesn't want to sell the stuff, but she's going to have to. He feels like he's left out of all the decisions for this, so. You get into the family dynamic, them falling on the hard times. Things happened after the blip. And he's adamant about helping her out. And she doesn't want it.
So important to note, here's another Easter egg. The name of the boat's the Paul and Darlene, which is the Paul and Darlene Wilson. That's the name of their parents. Right. That was the name of the boat, right? Mm-hmm. In the comics, that was also the name of their parents.
Okay, so we got continuity.
Sarah also exists in Continuum, in continuity, she exists in the comics as well.
Okay. Was she a fairly prominent role in the comics, or just kind of like?
It depends whose storyline you were reading.
Okay.
So, but I mean, she's always been a pretty strong character. So.
So they.
Okay. So what part?
It's a pretty long, I keep repeating myself a little bit here, but I think it's a pretty long conversation of them discussing the trials and tribulations of the family business has hit since he's been gone, and since all the things that have happened in the world, and she's wanting to sell, and she's very, like I said, very adamant, very strong about not wanting Sam's help at all, and he's very adamant about wanting to help her. It's just the family business. They grew up on this boat. he's telling her that she made some she's kind of insinuating that she made some bad financial decisions that, he wants to go help him talk to the bank. I'll set the appointment, all this. So he's, taking the break from this badass Avenger military service stuff that he's doing to, here's the family home life. And he tells her, he's going to set the appointment with the bank. So he's looking to help her, refinance and do all that fun banking stuff that nobody wants to do.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they just have their chit chat back and forth. We could break this down more, but it's literally them talking about finances, which doesn't, I don't think, interest Kyle and I as much. Well, Kyle used to be a banker.
Yeah. Well, there's a banking scene. I guess I can break down a little bit more when they get to that.
Yeah. So next thing we know, Bucky gets his date. And he brings flowers, and she's like, this is the most old-fashioned thing anyone's ever done. So it's like, he's already off to a good start. And then she's like, grab a seat. I'll be done in a few. And she's like, she's just talking. And she's like, so have you dated much since half the fish in the sea came back? And he's like, no, not really. I tried the whole online dating thing, which surprises me which means he's a lot more technical than Cap was.
Yeah. Bucky seems a little bit more settled in this world if he's this new into it. And right. Cap dove into it, but Bucky seems definitely more settled. There's something in this scene, this is totally irrelevant to anything, possibly, but there's a blue bottle that's sitting on the counter with a flower in it. And you really don't notice it much, but it almost looks like it's not there. Like they're like, we needed something on this counter. We're going to, add.
It looks fake.
It looks
fake.
You just
like CG'd. It looks CG'd. It really does look CG'd.
Yeah, from both angles. Like, well, maybe it was just that angle. Then
I wonder if it is.
Said, like, yep, it also looks CG'd. It doesn't look like it's there.
Well, because that flower doesn't look real, does it?
The bottle doesn't look real. Indeed, just the frosted bottle.
This will give it ambiance. Even from this other angle. Yeah, even from the other angle, it doesn't.
It's a weird thing that grabbed my attention. Not relevant to really anything other than I felt we needed a flower bottle.
Yeah, no.
If you ask me about the,
and Bucky's just talking about weird pictures.
Yeah, let me go back to that. I was say I was scrolling. I was watching as I was going in the bottle, and I was at the point where she was asking about the gloves. Tiger photos. What's that? Tried the whole online dating thing. Pretty crazy.
He's like the whole thing's kind of weird, and he goes, I mean, tiger photos, and she goes, and he said, half the time I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's a lot. He's talking about online, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if he's referencing Tiger King or not.
I think it might have been a little subtle thing.
I kind of hope he was.
I hope he was too.
But she's just giving him the smile, and she wants a little Bucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little Bucky. Give me a little bit of that Bucky.
Give me a little of that Bucky. And she's like, oh no, I was wrong on the age too. So I need to look that up. Because she goes, you sound like my dad. And she's like, wait, how old are you exactly? And he says 106. So I don't know. Something doesn't add up because I swear Steve was born in 1918 and Bucky was a year older than him.
And so that's what I was talking about. They thought there were some continuity issues with the ages and stuff. And, it just is what it is.
Yeah, because he was born in 1918 and Bucky's a year older than him. So that would make Bucky 104.
Well, this takes place in 2025.
Get it right, Marvel.
This is a 2025 time setting, right?
Oh, wait. Is it? I thought it was current.
Well, we're caught up, but this was like slightly in the future. Like the events, I thought the everybody.
Where did it say 2025?
The unblipping. I don't know. I've got that stuck in my head for some reason. So Let me see. What?
Because I thought that this was current.
I've got that like 2025 stuck in my head. Infinity War took place.
Oh yeah, Endgame is set in the year 2023. It
was supposed to take place in 2018.
Endgame, most of Endgame is set in the year 2023.
Okay.
Because it was 5 years. It was 5 years after the blip, and then at the end of Endgame. So this is a couple months later. So this is 2023 still.
Been about like 105, roughly. Oh, video's still going.
That's all right. But you know, she says, so I guess that would be, if it's 2023, that would be 106 then.
Yeah. Close enough. Like we said, you know, it's just something nerds will pick apart, which we did. So.
And she's like, he goes 106, and she's like, ha 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 ha. And he's like, and I love the little half smile he did, and he goes, no, I'm really 106. And then she asked, okay, you can go over this because you want to go over this. She said, what's up with your gloves?
Oh, yeah. I got way far ahead, you know. And so, you know, she points out the gloves. He mentions, you know, he just says, you know, poor circulation, just like a quick little cover. And she buys it. She's like, okay, not weird. This guy's just hanging out wearing these gloves. I like how he stops the cat arm from going, like.
Yes, the Nico cat.
I didn't know that was, okay, I didn't know the name for those. That's what, okay. And then they start playing Battleship.
Nico cat. They mean you face them towards the door. Yeah.
Okay.
You face them towards the door because they mean good fortune and good.
Okay. I learned something new tonight. I'll save that for the later episode. What did you learn this week? Learn about Nico cats. So they start playing Battleship.
Damn it! I just gave you one.
And you know, she's really good. He talks about, you know, this is something about the parents passed away. Oh, he said, you know, talked about his parents had passed away. And then she goes into talking about how, you know, she says it's sweet of him hanging out with Yordi, like she is, or like he has been. And he has the line, was it him or her that said it? Oh, she said it. How they call, you know, someone whose wife.
It's been hard for him. His son died.
Yeah. And, you know, she said, you know, they call a guy who loses his wife a widower. Your parents die, you're an orphan. There's not a name for someone whose kids have passed away. And that's something I never thought about either. You know, that there's not a.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. And so that you just see something go over Bucky's face, and he just like bolts out the door, gone. And just leaves her standing there.
That's the end of that date.
Yeah. Well, Battleship's over. And it cuts to him going back to, you know, the apartment complex. He goes to Yuri and he's asking, you know, how the date was. You can see inside Yuri's apartment, there's a little shrine there. He's burning incense. There's went too far back.
And this is important.
This is highly important. And
yeah, you're right.
And I was kicking myself for not putting this together earlier. Because once it was made obvious, it was obvious. You know, obvious throwbacks, obvious. But
they did a good job of hiding this in plain sight.
Yep. You see his little shrine. You see the incense is burning. So he's been recently there at the shrine, and there is a picture of Yuri's son, who was the
trembling guy at the hotel.
Was the guy that couldn't unlock the door at the hotel earlier. So
because they wouldn't give him a real room.
They would have just gave him a key card. But yeah, Bucky looks at the picture. He's like, you know, I forgot I owed you for lunch. He was, you know, just looking for an excuse to go up and see Yuri again. But, you know, of course, Yuri doesn't know. You know. He could tell that he looked at the picture like he saw him. You know, he looked back after Bucky looked at the picture. But that part right there, that threw me for the loop. But I wasn't expecting that. Like I said, hiding in plain sight.
I don't think any of us was. Literally hiding in plain sight.
So
and then
he goes back to his list.
And at the top of the list on this one page is Nakashima, Yuri's last name.
But he doesn't. Does he mark? He doesn't mark the name off, so he doesn't feel like
he doesn't mark the name off. So, well, I don't know if he means his dad. I don't think he knew it was his dad because he saw the picture there. Because he didn't put 2 and 2 together till she started talking about that in the restaurant when they were playing the game.
See, I wonder if he knew and he was that was part of his plan to make amends with him was because he was his neighbor, right? Like that's way too coincidental just to be randomly become buddies with one of the last people that you killed. Because it's fairly recent. That's way.
I don't know. I kind of think he didn't know. What do you guys think?
His name was in the book.
Kyle's on one end of the fence. I'm on the other end.
Because he had the name in the book.
Yeah, but that's his dad's last name too.
Well, yeah. But did he know the name of the guy that he was supposed to kill? Or was he just killing agents? I mean, I guess he had to kill that engineer. Or was he an engineer or scientist? The smart guy.
I think he knew every single kill that he did. That's why they're in the book.
Yeah, but if he was making
Zemo's in there,
was his list of people that he was supposed to make amends with,
that's his last name.
He wouldn't. If he killed the guy, he's not going to have to make amends with the dead guy. So he had to know that was his father. So that was him making amends for that. Because he wouldn't just if the guy was dead, he's not. I mean, he's not going to be in the book. He's not going to make amends with the dude that you killed. He's gone.
Or did the psychologist have him write every person he killed in that book?
Well, the senator was still alive. I mean, they could have been in addition to, but surely not, because he'd have a hell of a long list.
Right. But, I mean, we only know that Zemo is alive because, there's previews and we've seen screenshots of him. But we assume Zemo was dead after Civil War when he shot himself in the head.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe we'll know more later. I don't think he's done with him because he didn't mark the name off. So he's going to come back. I really
don't know.
He's going to come back. So now we go to Sam and Fam. Cooking.
Sam and Fam, and they're making. It's making me hungry looking at this.
They're making gumbo. I really want some gumbo or jambalaya. Either one. I don't care. Either one I want.
And I want it now too.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks good. And they're packing up all these lunches for people.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're talking about, you sure that it's going to work? And Sam's like, yeah, it's going to work. I've run the numbers.
Yeah.
They go out and, this part's really not that important right there.
No,
this next part is.
I thought they were taking the food to the bankers, which I think is a great gesture. Because I used to be one, and nobody ever brought me any fucking food, whatever. But the a little salty over that, but I guess it ended up being that was like going to be their extension of the business was selling food fresh. Like they caught the food fresh and then they sell it, kind of food truck style. I think that's what that was. So then we're back and we see
we're in Switzerland at this point.
We're in Switzerland? Oh, let me go. I went too far.
Mm-hmm. Now we're in Switzerland,
yeah.
And we see Torres there. And you see all these people around, and then you look, and who were they? LAF?
Mm-hmm.
All right, no, Flag Smashers. We don't know the name of this organization yet. We assume they're the Flag Smashers, just because we know background from the story. He looks at his phone, and there's it says like group meeting or it's got like a little circle, like a geolocation, a geofence on it.
Yes,
and then in the top left is that hand that he saw in that like AVR.
Group
and I just noticed this.
04.
I didn't notice it. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
It's like a cell number. Not like cell phone, but like a terrorist cell.
Yeah.
I just noticed this. I didn't know this is on the AVR, but the hand, there's a world in there inside the palm.
They got the whole world in that hand.
Or is it South America? They got the whole world in that hand.
That's Africa.
Is that South America? Is it Africa?
That's Africa.
But yeah, I just noticed that. So Torres is walking around, and I still don't. And he's speaking in German. He asks this guy, "Do you know what we're supposed to do?" And the guy just kind of ignores him. Then you hear this whistle. So Torres looks a little bit like. I think he looks a little bit like Tom Holland. It might be just the hair, or the way that they both like kind of squint. But they hand out masks. I don't know why I brought that up. I just did. It has nothing to do with anything. They're handing out these masks, and it's this black mask. It's like a paper mache mask with that hand on there. Like they look like Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings again, with that handprint. But that's actually Flag Smasher's mask from the comic.
That's a cool mask. I love cool masks. Like stuff is like.
It is really cool. You should go.
Especially stuff like this. It's not.
You should wear that.
It's not like a super flashy. Like it's just ominous, dark, badass looking. I give this mask 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen with it.
Is it going to get smashed?
2 thumbs up. It's got the Kyle seal.
I approve this mask.
The cell phone breaks, and all of a sudden we see then. Did you ever look up what that means, Ren? My guess is like maybe begin in German. Cell phone beeps, and you see the hand, and it says Ren. RENN exclamation. Ren means. I'm seeing Ren.
And translation to English. Conjugate this verb. What?
For race, run, and sprint. It means race, run, and sprint in German.
Okay, so we have a bank robbery race.
Ren.
Bum, bum,
Man,
bum,
that
bum,
song would have a whole new meaning. Ren. You were thinking the same thing. Ren. You hear this glass breaking, and these 2 big duffel bags just go out, and all of a sudden, this person jumps from, is that a 2nd or 3rd story floor?
That is going to be a 3rd story, I believe, sir. It looks like the equivalent of 3rd story. He's way the hell up there.
Which makes me wonder if we know this is a story about, paralleled with super soldiers. Is this like a contender to a super soldier serum that they have? Mm-hmm. This guy just jumps from the 3rd floor, brushes off his coat.
Yeah, gives it the old little tug. I'm like, yeah, that was a badass landing on it. And 100% that he. Okay, you know how you know this is a bad guy? Like, this would be a cover of some good guys trying to do something. How he landed. You see how he landed? You see how the bad guy. You see how he didn't land? He didn't superhero land.
The superhero.
The knee and the fist? No.
Okay, well. Okay, let's rewind this a little bit more. We don't know this is a guy.
True.
Look at the hair. It's really long and back. So, Flag Smasher in the comic, I want to say was a... No, Flag Smasher was a guy, I believe. But there was a lady who held the ideals up in the comics. I think. Let me look this up real quick. I think, it was a guy, but there was a lady who upheld the ideals. Like she was part of a radical group in the comic at one of the things.
Kind of looking, it's just hard to tell. You can't. Because of the mask.
Right. Well, and the person's dressed in a big, bulky jacket.
Pretty tall, though. But
we assume.
Oh, or Torres is really short.
And then this person hands off the 2 duffel bags to 2 people running. And you hear these police going, he has the money, get him. Again, where everyone's assuming this is a man. It might not be a man.
I think it is.
We don't know who. I don't think it is.
I'm going to hang my head on that one. I think it is.
I'm going to go it's a girl.
Just because I knew you were going to go with it was a female. So I at least had to have some conflicting opinion there.
Well, good. I mean, heaven forbid you should go with what I say you did. So the police grab Torres at this point. He's just watching it all go by. It's like, you're under arrest. And Torres is saying in English, he's getting away and does this UFC style flip and flips him over. And he's like, sorry. And he's speaking in German. Sorry.
And I've seen these.
And then.
Well, I'm a few seconds ahead of you because when you see Torres tangle with the super evil person, assumed evil person.
Right. Well, before that, this super evil person sees the police going after one of these people. And so the person goes and kicks the guy, and he goes flying probably about, 20 feet? At least in the air from one kick. So this person we know they have some sort of super strength. Torres pulls out a gun and says, I don't know how the jurisdiction works here, but the person grabs him by a hand, basically almost breaks his hand, picks him up, and just flips him.
Some of these
Torres just
these closer angles where you see like a closer up person, like, God, no, you might be right. That might be a lady.
This person kicks Torres in the head, and Torres is out, and the plaza's clear. Okay, this next scene, Sam and Sarah are in the bank. This, to me, is an Easter egg. This scene answers the age-old question. Let's get through this till we get to the part. But this answers the age-old question that we've always thought, but no one's ever vocalized. We'll get there. First, the guy's looking. He goes, do I know you? I do, but where? And Sam's like, come on. And he's doing this smile, putting on his charm, and then holds out his little hands, doing like a flapping motion. He's like, Falcon. He's like, I didn't want to say anything, he's like, I wanted to be an Avenger. And he's taking like a selfie, and Sam's in the background and does, the pose. And, Sam's playing it up to try and get this loan.
Try and butter up the officer.
And then the guy says, I always wondered, how do you guys make your living? This is the thing that everyone's always wondered, but never actually said aloud. How do superheroes make money? We know Peter Parker barely makes it by selling pictures to the Daily Planet. But how do these other guys who are full-time superheroes living in the Avengers compound make money? How do the guys in the X Mansion make money? They don't have jobs.
Yeah.
Their jobs are being superheroes.
You mean the Bugle, not the planet. Your universe is crossed.
Oh, yeah. The Bugle.
Or the Bugle or the Globe? What was it? Bugle.
It's the Bugle. You're right. I got my universes crossed.
Actually, Chris.
Actually. And he asked, how do you guys make a living? And he's like, and Sarah's like, she's not having any of it. She's like, those guys or the guy sitting here trying to get a loan from you? And he's like, both. He's like, ha ha ha. It's like, your financials are all over the place. Do you guys have a fund, or did Start pay you? And Falcon's like, no, there's a tremendous amount of goodwill because people are try to help you, which applies to business, which means basically, as long as you're being a superhero, people will pay for stuff for you, is what he's implying. He's like, this applies to business. Like, yeah, but, the guy goes, what'd he say? People inclined to help.
Yeah, inclined to help goodwill. And it's like, been living off of goodwill. And this is like, you've had no income.
Yeah.
For 5 years.
You've had no. And this was important because, he's like, I haven't been here for 5 years, and I looked at the laws and, the codes, Sarah says, how do you have income if you don't exist? Because this is another important thing that I don't think I ever really thought about. What happened to these people after they got back? They didn't have income for 5 years.
Yeah.
They didn't exist for 5 years.
And if you had a lot of vacation time saved up, maybe you could have.
Yeah. PTO. And Sam's like, I've got government contracts. It's proof of earnings. And we qualify for this loan. And the guy goes, under the old terms, yeah. But these days, and with everyone that just showed back up, things tightened up, which means they changed all the laws and regulations because of the blip. And people coming back.
What it likely was either a law change or a liquidity issue with the bank. I don't want to get banky nerdy on you here, but
no, do it because I don't know.
So what could have happened here is you had all these people coming back. They, may have had money sitting in the bank. Likely, those accounts and things are still open, so there's money sitting there with nobody to claim it. One, your financial structure for the entire world is going to collapse. I'm surprised it's doing as well as it is right there. But when all these people came back, they're going to be out of jobs, they're going to be out of housing, they're going to be out of all this stuff. So you're going to have basically like a run on banks to pull cash out. Banks don't have cash, they don't have money to lend. And so when he's talking about things tightening up, he's talking about the banks not being basically as liquid as they would like to be able to loan money. There's a certain ratio that they have to keep on, like loan to deposits, which typically they'll try to stay between 70 to 90% loaned out. And so their deposits are going to be down because everybody's pulling money out because they're needing it to get back on their feet. And their loans are going to be up because everybody's trying to also borrow money to get back on their feet. So it's going to be this huge liquidity issue within the whole financial system after the blip or after the unblip of just basically a run on the banks is what it is. And they're legally obligated to give you your money if it's still sitting in there. The money doesn't go anywhere. If the account gets closed, somebody's presumed dead, whatever, unless they paid them out to beneficiaries, there's that money's still sitting in there. So there's going to be a run on those funds. Or like I said, there's going to be a huge demand for credit for people trying to stay afloat and things. So there's but the only thing that doesn't make sense with me with this whole scene, because they talk about applying for an SBA loan, and he's like, we qualify, we do this and all this, this doesn't make sense to me. But this is Marvel America. This isn't America we live in now. That I would think that the government would have loan programs, available to keep these businesses afloat that are just coming back from all of this. That there's going to be rules and regulations and things that they have to follow, especially through like the whole SBA process. Income verification, all this stuff they have to show. I mean, if you want to borrow the money, you have to show that you can repay the money. And it sounds like they're not able to show that because of the lack of income. But everybody's going to have that lack of income, or 50% of the population is going to have that lack of income. And so you would think that there'd be programs and safety nets and things put in place by the government, which didn't happen, but also wouldn't lead to a very interesting plot point either. If they're like, oh yeah, you qualify for all these government grants, here's your fish boat, you're good to go. That's boring.
See, this is why I'm glad you're here, because I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. I probably got a lot of it wrong. I got some of it right, I'm pretty sure, but that's that.
So, but that's more than I knew. Okay, so after they basically said your family's banked here for generations, but we can't loan you any money. They go out and all that food's back there. I'm wondering if they have a brick and mortar restaurant that they sell this out of. This is why they were doing it, because remember, it was Wilson Family Restaurant.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was seafood.
Seafood. Like, I'm wondering if they have a brick and mortar restaurant or a restaurant that they sell to in town. The seafood.
Oh, I thought they were just a supplier, and she was wanting to do the prepared food on the side as a new thing.
I don't know. This is bugging me now where they're taking all this food at this point.
Yeah.
Because they never actually address it. Yeah, I want to know.
They didn't take any to the bank.
I want some gumbo, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that bastard. Oh, and the banker did ask Sam to take, he wanted to take a selfie with his arms out his wings. And Sam goes, are you serious?
Yeah, after the fact. Like, really, dude?
After the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they're arguing, and Sarah's saying, I'm giving up. And, you joined the Air Force. You didn't see what mommy and daddy went through. And Sam's like, I'm going to go to every bank in town. I'm not giving up.
Right. I thought that's what they were doing with the food, but it looked, you see, right there so he said he's not giving up. They unload the food out of the back of the truck, and they're at the town square.
Right. There's
people in the town square. There's not very many. There's a few, and there's like a tent and stuff. So was that like homeless people living in the middle of town? Like a very small homeless commune of like 7 people living in the town square? Or was that, just people doing
Oh,
their
yeah.
deputy
I guess
stuff?
I wonder if they were bringing it to the homeless.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Or are those
can't-
just hippies?
I don't know. There's a couple of tents. They're either hippie or they're homeless. Or homeless hippies.
Is there a difference?
I don't think so.
Mm. We're not being mean. We're just being serious. I know a bunch of hippies.
Yeah.
And they're perfectly fine. If you watched King of the Hill, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what's going on in the little town square there.
What was it? Chumbawamba dude or Farty Warty? I can't remember what it was. King of the Hill. I gotta look it up. Next thing you see Sam working on the boat. He's trying to get it working. He can work on this multi-billion-billion-dollar flight suit, but he's trying to get this one boat working. Cannot get it working. All of a sudden he gets this text from Torres. And if they don't mention Torres's first name, I'll go over what the Easter egg is about Torres here at the end.
Okay.
Torres basically says, he said, get to a secure line, need you to watch something and call me back ASAP, #important. I don't know why I thought that was funny, because I know it's not, because he got his ass kicked, but he just used #important. And that's just very Torres. Then he showed a picture of him where he just, got the shit beat out of him.
Is Torres our new Darcy for this run?
Our new what?
Darcy.
Our Darcy? I think he is. I think he might be, because he's very likable.
Yeah.
And I don't like how they just got Darcy out of there. They better bring Darcy back for this.
I think Darcy will come back.
I think we need to, listeners, let's start a petition. Let's #bring back Darcy. Let's get it going. We'll put it with the Sad Bucky picture. We're gonna get Sad Bucky trending. Sam's sitting at this computer, and Torres was wearing a body cam. And it's got a picture of the
he had a
leader
phone
of
tucked
the
in
flag.
his vest pocket, because right before
Oh,
the
is
whole
that
thing,
what it is?
yeah, you see me like he unzips it so you can like kind of see the camera there. So he had a phone tucked.
Okay, so you look, and Sam goes, so this is the leader of the Flag Smashers. You get a good look at this person, but you don't, because this person's wearing baggy clothes, a bomber jacket, and the mask. So you can't tell who this is, guy or girl. Right. I'm still maintaining it's a girl.
You're starting to sway me.
He goes, I thought you're supposed to be monitoring them. He's like, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. Or a broken orbital. I did. And which means that Torres is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's not afraid to get in a fight. He's not afraid. He's got a good sense of justice.
He's very upbeat too for getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, he's extremely upbeat. I mean, he's got a butterfly Band-Aid on, Yeah. So yeah, Torres is he's just a good guy, good sense of justice, like I said. And Sam's just kind of laughing at him. He's like, you're lucky, that's all you got. And then he sees the pictures of of this person kicking the police officer and them going flying. He goes, he's strong. He's like, he goes, bro, they went dark as soon as it was over, which means they were gone, which I don't think Torres actually knew, because he went dark, because he got his ass knocked out. What was it Smokey said in Friday? You got your ass knocked out.
You got knocked the fuck out.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's basically what I was hearing. He goes, Torres is saying that's their MO. And we got to see when they pop up again. And he's like, anything else happened? He's like, no, I was taking a dirt nap. And he's like, what are you thinking? And he's like, I'll circle back at you. Sam's thinking of something. He's like, keep this between you and me. And then Sarah comes up. She's like, oh my God, Sam, look at this. And then you hear this news report. Here's another Easter egg. The news channel WHIH is the news channel they've used throughout multiple Marvel MCU movies and television reports. This is what was on WandaVision. Also, when Wanda was walking into Sword, WHIH was what was playing on those big monitors.
Oh, okay.
So this has been on multiple things. And then here comes another Easter egg. I think he's a senator, or he's in charge of the DOD. This guy. He's talking about every day America feels it. You know, we love heroes who defend the earth. We need heroes. You know, we need a symbol. We need a hero to defend this country. He's saying, you know, we all knew where he was going with this. Because he said we need a real person who embodies America's values. You know, oh God, you know, or is it Captain America? You know, I saw some people saying thought they were for sure that they were going to bring Steve back because he's rumored to be in this.
Yeah.
And he says, "Great honor, we announced the United States of America has a new hero." And he says, "Join me in welcoming your new Captain America." They don't actually say he's Captain America. They said your new Captain America. He comes out and shakes hands, and then they show him, and it was this, you see the shield, close up of the shield, and Sam's just like, holy shit, why? And then he puts it down, and he just has this little grin, and some of the best memes I've ever seen was he looks like the old man from Up. In that, if you look at him, he had this, and if you look, his costume's actually different.
Well, it is, and there's something very noticeable I caught in that I didn't see in. I'm trying to look at newer pictures of Cap.
Are you talking the stripes on the suit?
No, I'm talking about the pistol on his hip.
Cap had a pistol.
He did early on, but did he later?
Yeah, not later.
He did when he was in World War II, but later iterations, did he actually? I mean, it looks like he had a holster, but did he actually have?
So Bucky, when Bucky was Cap, he had a gun. But yeah, I don't think Cap did in MCU later. I did see a great meme that, you know, Loki was around for multiple movies. Hold on, let me read it to you, because this is great, because I remember seeing this. I knew who this was at the minute I saw it too. They said that there's a couple good memes based off of this. Where is it? Should have had this ready already.
So you know who this is then?
Yes. Knew exactly who this was.
Okay.
Because the way that the suit is. So we're looking at this. Here we go. Let's go to all photos. Damn it, where the hell is it? Basically, Loki's been around for multiple movies, and immediately you know what you're getting. And then this guy, it was on screen for a grand total of 8 seconds, and everyone hates him. Then there's another one that showed a picture of this guy right here in this grin, you know, the old man from Up, and it says Joss Whedon's Justice League, and then it showed one of Chris Evans as Captain America that says Snyder Cut Justice League.
Nice.
Which is great. So this guy's, if you look at the uniform, is U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent was Captain America 2, brought in as Captain America 2. He becomes U.S. Agent. He has a black costume. It's a darker costume in the comics. His name's John Walker in the comics, and he doesn't have any superpowers. He's just really strong and really, really aggressive. His superpower is he's an angry person. His superpower is rage, because his life sucks. Like, he got fired from his job. He was getting divorced. Like, anything bad you could think of that was happening to him happened. And so he was just ragey. Kind of a sucky character, like in the comics, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't tell you one person that I know that's like, oh yeah, I love US Agent. But yeah, no, this is US Agent. This is how they're bringing him in. So I looked up here's your next Easter egg, who US Agent is. His name is Wyatt Russell, who was there was a film in 2018 called Overlord, which I thought was a great movie. It was like kind of a different take on zombies. That's in the queue, by the way, if you go look. Okay. It's a fun little movie. He was the star of that. He was a hockey player too. Wyatt Russell, and he was in The Goon with Stifler.
Okay.
He is actually the youngest child of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Oh, and
if you look at his face, he looks like his dad.
And he was in Escape from L.A.
Yep. So that is Wyatt Russell.
That's Kurt's boy.
It is Kurt's boy.
I can see it.
That's how they end it. And then if you look, there's actually a couple Easter eggs in the end credit scene here.
Yeah. If that's the son of Kurt Russell, I can't hate him. I refuse.
You can't hate him. I hate the little grin he's doing. So you have to pause it just at the right moment to hit it. But in the end credit scenes here, it just looks like, old paper and like maybe crumbling walls and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like this monkey and this like Chinese writing. But if you look, I don't know if it was this part or not. Yeah, it's right behind there. So it was right. You have to pause it at the right moment. But behind where they put the credits right there, there's a reference to just before they cross it out, Madripoor. Madripoor is one of the main cities, and the city's taken over by Hydra at one point in the comics. Madripoor is also where Logan, or the Wolverine, goes by Patch. He spends an entire couple of years there as Patch because he wears a patch. And Madripoor is a lawless city. So I have a feeling they're going to be going to Madripoor in this, because we know that the end credit scenes in WandaVision, foreshadowed stuff. So I have a feeling that's what they're doing here. There's also another, if you pause it at the right moment, you can see December 16th, 1991 in the credits. It's the date that Tony's parents were killed by the Winter Soldier.
Oh.
Then the last one, if you get it at the right moment, it's in all this red, and it looks like a little book that's torn towards the end here. It's the Red Hydra book that Zemo used in Civil War for the Winter Soldier programming, because you'll see roasted 17, all the keywords, daybreak in the right order.
I'm looking at it. There's a big block of text that I'm trying to pause on just right.
So there's that. And they don't actually show it. So, okay. So are you curious about our boy, Taurus?
Yeah. So there's the date. So what do you got on Taurus?
Okay. So if this is Taurus that I'm thinking about, it's Joaquin Taurus. He's super important because in the comics, he becomes Falcon while Sam becomes Captain America. He takes up the Falcon mantle.
Wouldn't he have to be trained in that? What's the
flight suit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume so, but in the comic, he takes it up. Also, if you look at the end credit scenes there's Zemo's mask. And the traditional Zemo's mask from the comic, that's kind of the pinkish mask that's in there.
I I haven't got that far yet, but I'm like pausing and going. There's a little like a half ripped poster. This is John Walker. Cap is back, and it's kind of like graffiti over that. You can barely make it out.
Oh, I need to look.
This is
so that is
This is manufactured hero over his face, or kind of over part of his face, like somebody scribbled over it.
Is that just right before the Zemo mask?
I'm trying to see where I'm at. There's Falcon's page getting ripped up.
Oh, you know who else you see there too? Okay, it shows Anthony Mackie. It's showing the people in there. They don't give her credit, but that's what's her name from Winter Soldier and Civil War? Sharon Carter.
Ew.
You see her holding like the nightstick?
Looks like she's holding a pipe.
Pipe, nightstick, whatever. It's a tallywhacker.
That's not a tallywhacker.
But it's that's Sharon Carter, dude.
Lost in the blip.
Another throwback. Yeah, that's Sharon Carter. I didn't catch that the first go. Yep, there's Wyatt Russell.
If there's the keywords. There's a lot of stuff in this. I'm just
Lost in the blip.
Really go back and mission report.
Is that missing
December
guy?
6th.
Is that the guy who Bucky killed?
Hey, Ben. I hadn't seen that. There's George St. Pierre. Senator Atwood pushes for border enforcement. So there's like a lot of little blurbs and stuff. There's so much. There's probably more going. It seems like there's more going on in these end credits than there was in the episode.
I agree. Well, and before that little Illuminati, I wonder if that's Illuminati, that eye in the triangle.
Yeah.
Because the Illuminati in the comics actually exists. That's Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Black Bolt, Tony Stark, T'Challa, and I think there was someone else in there.
It seems like there's a lot of references in here to the Sokovian Accords. Like, I think that's what a lot of those little articles are. Yeah. We didn't
One
have
of them
any,
looks like it was just in Russia.
we didn't have any post credits, did we? We just had all the stuff there.
Yeah, no post credits that I saw.
All right, so there you guys go. Episode 1.
Episode 1 of our Nerkie for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Kyle, what are you watching or reading?
And so I started watching My Hero Academia with my daughter yesterday.
Woo!
Great
Great
a couple
series.
episodes, and I kind of was halfway watching a little bit the first episode, and I kind of I got into it a little bit more. I liked it. I'm not reading anything yet this week. I'm going to be. That's why going to start diving back into the boys, so I can get into the second, omnibus. Or it was it a compendium omnibus? Which one did I get?
Omnibus. You got the omnibus.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, so it's weird kind of seeing these, little crossovers and things that are just seeing where things kind of line up. So, watching those first couple episodes of My Hero Academia, I'm getting, the boys vibes. I'm finding the boys vibes in everything. Like I'm seeing that in everything that I'm.
Sure. Well, the boys takes from everything. Garth Ennis takes from everything in that. Like he hit everything you can think of. What are you watching it on Vudu, My Hero?
Hulu. We're watching it on Hulu.
Go watch it on Vudu. There's no ads.
No, I'll watch it on Vudu then.
You're welcome.
So
fun fact that they're on the last arc of My Hero Academia. I read that this Sunday.
Instead of wrapping up.
It's a time skip. Yeah, it's the final arc. But the final arc could be 2 years.
Well, yeah.
So, but yeah, they're on the final arc of that. So I started rewatching or rereading Invincible because the cartoon comes out this week on Amazon.
Yeah, that does.
And Invincible is by Robert Kirkman, who did Walking Dead.
Mhm.
And it is fucked up. I think as you guys have figured out, I like the fucked up ones.
Yeah.
But
I'll be watching that.
I got the compendiums.
I read a lot of
so
Walking Dead, so I'm excited about to see. I remember reading about this.
Invincible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I never read it. Like I've read some Kirkman. I think I read the first like 100, 130 issues of Walking Dead, but I didn't get into this one.
So, it's got me wanting to go back and reread these older stories. Like I want to reread my Why the Last Man, which is one of my favorite stories by Brian K. Vaughan, because supposedly there's a TV series coming out about it. And that's phenomenal, about literally the last man on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The last man and the last monkey man on Earth. Like, it's not a monkey man, it's a boy monkey. So I read the My Hero Academia, and I'm rereading Invincible. And of course, what I'm watching is going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Invincible.
So I have been rewatching some of the DC movies because from this run, all I've seen, I saw, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Aquaman. I haven't seen Justice League. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 84. I haven't seen, I don't think either Wonder Woman, actually, now that I think of it.
Oh, they're good.
And
well,
so,
okay, a lot of people didn't like 84, but I did.
I'm trying to plow through those at least to get caught up to Justice League. So I want to watch Justice League before I watch Snyder Cut. Which Snyder Cut's what, 4 hours?
4 hours. 4 hours, 1 minute, or 2 minutes.
And it was originally supposed to be 8 hours?
Oh, yeah, originally 8 hours. But it's okay. That's what else I was watching. I watched the Snyder Cut last week. Loved it.
I got to find the time somewhere to get caught up so I can watch that. So I can watch Justice League so I can watch Snyder Cut. So
we will Nerkie the Snyder Cut. Yeah, we will Nerkie the Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut's 4 hours, which means that'll be about 18 hours for us. So we're going to break that up.
I'm looking forward to editing that. I'm going to need a new hard drive.
Yeah, I know. Good thing you just bought a new...
yeah, I got a new one. I got
new hard drive.
To do that. It'll go on and it'll go right back off.
What did you learn this week?
What have I learned this week?
You just had one that you learned.
What did I learn this week? I'm trying to think of anything significant that I've learned this week.
You learned you can't watch anything with sad Asian men.
I did. Sad Asian men make me sadder. I didn't realize that till this episode of watching this. He was so sad. He just, he's just this sad little Asian Japanese guy. Was he Japanese? I'm thinking he was Japanese.
Yeah, he's Japanese. Sad Yuri.
I felt so bad for him. I just wanted, go give him a hug.
Give him a hug. Mm-hmm. So I learned this week, it was something else, but then Kyle started talking about all the crap that went into like the loans and stuff and what would happen if you blipped. That's what I learned. Ask me how much of that I retained. Absolutely nothing, but I learned about it.
I don't know if I could rattle it off again and do it in the same fashion. That just
it was spectacular. It really was. But that's what I learned. So we will have this out to you hopefully. Well, it's already Tuesday, so Wednesday or Thursday, just before the new one comes out. So we will have another episode of our Nerkie next week. And let's get Sad Bucky trending. We're going to make memes and we're going to start seeing if we can get that to trend around. Let's make that a meme.
Let's make it happen.
Get it trending. Let's make it viral. So with that, thank you for listening to Every Man's Guide to Nerdom. Mm-hmm. I am Chris.
And I'm Kyle. You guys have a great evening, morning, whatever time it is when you're listening to this. Be good to each other. Check out the Discord. Links in the bio. Check out Chris on Twitch at GuyverUNT01. Or is it 01 or 01? How do you type it in? I've got it like hotkeyed 01. And I am also on the Twitch at twitch.tv/K_SIGK6. So we'll be playing stuff. You guys check
Come
that
give
out.
us crap.
Come give us a hard time. Watch us suck at video games.
You guys have a good one.
Have a great one. Good night.
Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word.